Dear Mother, I have had the worst flatulence all day long. Just thought you should know. Also, I am the kindest and most beautiful girl in the whole wide world. Love, Eve. Just kidding. Hello, Fiona. May I call you Fiona? This is Seredan. You may call me Seri. Or, frankly, whatever you feel like calling me. I found these letters that dear Evie has been writing to you all this time, and I just couldn't resist putting one in here myself so that I can tell you how wonderful I think your daughter is, and to assure you that I'm doing my utmost to keep her company, and to keep her safe, though usually she's the one keeping me safe. I hope you'll forgive me when you find this, Evie. But first, I feel like I need to process some things that have happened recently. Would you mind being a listening ear? It all started a couple nights ago. We were celebrating our recent victory over the Emerald Wilds. To be fair, the Fall Court in the Wilds really aren't as bad as everyone makes them out to be. It was that needle stick creature that seemed to be at the root of all the problems. Get it? Root? I was 2 or 5 pints into the revel when Gerbear of the Fallow Shield sat down and, can you believe it, offered to adopt me into the clan. 15 years I lived in Malagoth with my da. 15 years, and I still hadn't earned the right to officially bear the Stoneward name. And now, after 1 day of knowing Gerard, and 1 battle together, where admittedly I was pretty amazing, if I do say so myself, he offers me a place with the Fallow Shields. You know what? I'm sorely tempted to take him up on his offer. They're not a bad lot, despite the rumors told about them throughout Greater Malagoth. And I know what it's like to feel like you don't belong. Perhaps I would be a better fit with a clanless clan. If for no other reason, I might do it just to thumb my nose at my da. If he doesn't want me as a Stoneward, fine. Maybe I don't want them either. Anyway, 3 or 6 pints later, we were pretty much dancing on the tables to a rousing rendition of Yellow Yellow, when I suddenly heard Craggy talking to me. I saw what I suppose must have been some sort of corporeal manifestation of them beckon me into my room. I've learned this much at least: when the choir summons, you follow. So I went in. Next thing I know, I'm being folded in half and sucked inside a little locket, apparently. I didn't actually know it was a locket, though. That's just hearsay from everyone else. I have a feeling Craggy got just a wee bit of demi-godly satisfaction from turning me into something a little less majestic than my natural self. Probably serves me right. This is where it gets weird, Fiona. I'm standing there in this misty strangeness, surrounded by all these creepy-looking cloaked figures of various shapes and sizes, when one of them approaches me and asks me where I get my strength, or what drives me, or something like that. I thought about it for a bit and let them know. Above all, I desire power. Now, don't get judgy, Fifi. It's not like that. I mean, okay, fine. Maybe it is a bit like that, but mostly, as I told the creepy cloaked one, I wanted more power to protect the people I love, my family, people like your Evie. And of course, Jar Jar, Vicky, and Bolt. Nicknames just don't seem to stick to that one. They're all pretty great, too. Here's the thing. When I was a wee dwarf of barely 30, my mother died. It was so sudden and inexplicable, some rare disease that no one had ever heard of or knew how to treat. One day she was fine and we were happy in the summer court, and then 3 days later, she was gone. There was nothing I could do, nothing anyone could do. I've never felt so powerless in my life. I don't ever want to feel that way again. I simply want the ability to keep my friends and family safe. And if that means using the darkness as a tool, so be it. I'll do whatever it takes. As a mother, I bet you understand. No sooner had I said these words, well, not all of those words, you got the unabridged version, when all of a sudden Evie, Ez, and Bolt come tumbling out of the mist themselves. And someone said they were going to see if I really could protect them and that I had some ridiculous trial thingy to do, blah blah blah. Apparently 2 days had somehow already passed with me in the locket. And the Viscount himself was off on some training quest thing with some of the non-blindfolded members of the Third Ving. So, next thing you know, we're all walking through a door into this blackness that seemed to suck up all of my magic and getting nearly killed by the nastiest Etaquathan I've ever seen. Admittedly, I haven't seen many, and the few I have were incredibly kind. I think she was formerly patronized by the choir. If so, they have terrible taste in shock people. She pushes everyone but dear Evie into a little blob of darkness, which I was rather grateful for, to be honest, and I had to kill several shadow thingies. Easy-E and Bolt handled themselves nicely too, I believe, but Evie was the only smart one out of all of us. She sheared that shock face practically in half with a righteous fury that is, I'll admit, rather surprising, considering it's sourced from a trio of cute furries. You should have seen it. She was glorious. I'm sure you would have been proud. Assuming, of course, that glorious victory in battle is something that the people of Ruan actually appreciate. Well, if not, you should, because it was amazing. So, right. So far, I was 0 for 1 as far as protecting my loved ones goes. Then it was through another door and on to Trial the Second. This one was probably my least favorite, except for the part where I got to meet a real live werewolf, who happened to be an incredibly kind werewolf at that. I believe his name was Benvolio or something. He was the conductor of this particular test, which basically involved me seeing how much pain I could endure before dying. I'm going to have a serious chat with my glaive about their masochistic tendencies. If you want me to stop using you as the most beautiful Aelstein Aneria has ever seen, just ask. You don't have to torture me, right? Come to think of it, I suppose they sort of insinuated that they didn't appreciate my irreverence a few days ago. Perhaps I should have listened better. Well, I ran as fast as I could down the hallway of death, but almost died anyway. Thankfully, Bolt and Evie were there to patch me up while I was sprinting along. Jaja made a great cheerleader. Or, well, actually, his cheerleading was a bit crap. But at least he didn't try to kill me. That would come later. When I got to the end, the werewolf was really quite kind. He refreshed us all a bit, and then it was on to the third trial. Once again, of course, my allies were the ones protecting me. 0 for 2. As for the third trial, I'm not going to lie, Yona. I have no clue what was going on in there. There was a kindish me in a past life in there who claimed to have lost her heart and that we needed to find it, and finding it involved pulling on a bunch of chains that had numbers on them and hoping something that wanted to eat us didn't fall from the ceiling. We seemed to have gotten lucky, or, well, perhaps everyone else figured out what to do without my help. Puzzles aren't really my forte, not surprisingly. Bolt discovered the right chain, pulled it, and we found a locket with a picture of the lady's 2 beautiful children. It about broke my heart. I guess she was speaking metaphorically. We returned her heart to her, and she let us pass. Yep, wasn't much help there. 0 for 3. Finally, we got to trial number 4. There, we were confronted by some towering git named Aventhi. Aventhi the Farmer, or some such nonsense. He droned on about how he was the true wielder of Craggy and that I was some sort of lesser wielder or something. He implied that the little piece that was missing from his scythe was me, or was the power that I possessed, or something like that. I think he was interested in that bit of magic metal that the lady who tried to electrocute me and the professor of buttresses both told us about that came out of Bolt's chest hole. Like, maybe it could fix the missing bit from his scythe and make him whole? Admittedly, I didn't catch everything. I just wanted to fight. I threw up my darkness spell, and that little Hanulka actually took control of it and used it against me and my friends somehow to cause some very intense pain. I couldn't believe it. I was starting to feel like Craggy had perhaps come to regret choosing me and was sort of unsubtly trying to get rid of me, you know? Anyway, I let go of the darkness and we all rushed him, getting in a few good shots, but he was giving back more than he was getting. Near the end, Ez let out some insane magical explosion with one of his arrows that basically killed me. Feeling bad about that, he ran over and brought me back to life by pouring a potion down my throat. In his defense, I think he almost killed the git as well. Anyway, as I came to, lying there a bit dazed from everything, I looked over and saw that monster cut dear Evie down, and she dropped, as though lifeless. I'm sorry, Fiona, I don't mean to frighten you, she's all right now. But seeing this, well, something snapped inside of me. I flew at him in a rage. Screaming, I brought Craggy around with all of the power I could muster. Looking back on it now, I swear the blade was almost glowing with some sort of light that I don't quite understand. The blade hit home, and the bastard vanished, but not without some snarky parting comment to let us know that he wasn't finished with us. Good, because I'm not finished with him either. Thankfully, Bolt came to Evie's rescue and brought her back from the brink with his healing magic. Once again, I had failed to protect my friends. I couldn't take it anymore, Fiona. I basically collapsed in a puddle and bawled like a baby. I was so terrified when I saw Evie go down like that, and me, powerless to help, just like when my mother died. I was so angry. With myself for my inadequacy, with Craggy for putting my friends in danger during what was supposed to be my trial, with the world, I suppose. I need more. I have to have more. Obviously, the way that I am, the abilities I may possess, whatever power I may have, it's just not enough to keep them safe. I'll do whatever it takes to make myself strong enough. I promise you this. Anyway, all the cloaked creepies returned, perhaps to congratulate us for passing the trials, even though I barely had anything to do with our victories, and it looks like there was some sort of confusion or mistake. They weren't expecting the Git at the end there. It was supposed to be some other lesser Git. I guess Aventhi found his way into their little gauntlet in order to try to take us out and regain his lost bit of power, and apparently killed the being that was to be the director of the fourth trial. How do you kill a being that lives inside a locket? And then, they all tell us that this bastard is the one who caused the cracking in the first place. Finally, I feel like I'm getting somewhere in my quest. For the first time since I found Craggy in that pile of dirt on patrol all those months ago, I feel like I know what I need to do. Hunt down and kill this Henulka so I can stop the sky from breaking, and so I can take his power for myself. Then, no one will be able to hurt the people I care about ever again. Sari.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to session 14 of Tales of Aneria. We have a full group tonight.
Finally. No more Force Ghost.
Not at least for like 1 or 2 more weeks. We'll see.
Yeah.
This is session 14. We had a very big revelation last night. You've all been caught up. You've been caught up, I assume, Preston. But let's just go ahead and get into it, right? Unless anybody, do we have any announcements that we need to make or anything? Anybody want to tell anybody else something?
Nope.
No? Does anybody have anything they'd like to talk about before we begin?
Mm-mm.
I'm food pregnant, so within the next 24 hours I will be having child.
Okay. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
He'll drop some kids off at the pool.
Getting that toilet humor in early tonight, I see. There's only one thing that I can do about that.
There's just moments in life when you're like,
have an epic dice.
Yeah.
Oh no!
How did I get here?
Denied.
And why
not?
It's yours.
Am I here?
I did do the recap this week, so
That's true. There you go.
I'm keeping
Very good recap.
Perfect.
So funny.
I wouldn't have wanted with that potty humor I started with. I don't deserve it.
That's right. I got an epic die for opposing Colby.
Is that all it takes?
That's all.
Everything Colby likes, I hate.
when Cory's the DM, yes.
If it's on a Munchkin card to go up a level, I'll like it.
All right.
How about that? That's like one Munchkin fan out there. It's like, oh, I love Munchkin.
That's a great game.
It is.
It is a great game.
So is this.
This is a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
We're cutting all this out
Good
because I put a fish in my mouth and now I can't do anything else.
Retort.
Dog licking my foot.
Oh, Chevy.
Well, Dodger.
Well, Dodger.
I can see how you would be confused because usually it's Chevy.
All right. So, tonight, let's just go ahead and begin with a reminder. We heard in the recap, but let's just get a reminder in on the big revelation on last time. Namely, the avatar that you, or the avatar of the man that you fought, Aventhi, not the avatar. Well, he's the man. You fought his avatar. He's responsible for the cracking. And yeah, that's where we left off last time.
He's also a part owner of the crag?
For 83
The
years.
Will of the Crags.
83 years, an
Yep.
owner of the choir.
Yep.
Also, I wrote generic muddled. I don't know what that's about.
You are no longer muddled. You were muddled by a negative
Great
effect that
notes.
he-
You asked me. You were generic muddled when you wrote that, so it makes sense.
A few too many.
Okay.
So, you mean to tell me that bastard is the one who's responsible for the sky falling apart?
We believe so.
Believe so? What makes you think so?
Our range of knowledge has been limited as of late, ever since Aventhi took the will. He has blocked us out of many things, but we did feel the will of the crags swell in power and slightly shatter when the cracking happened.
Do you know anything else about what it means? What the result might be? Is it growing? Is the sky going to fall? Is the continent going to divide asunder?
There are things in this world about Aneria that have thrown the balance between good and evil off, tragically. Too much good, not enough to keep the balance pure and to keep things multi-sided, multifaceted. Unfortunately, because of these things, we're not really allowed to discuss too many specifics on what the cracking might mean. That's for you to discover.
That's frustrating.
That is frustrating. You have the answers.
Yes, so do the trio as well, by the way. We
I
have
think
been
we
in
might need
contact.
to have a little chat with our gods and
I
demigods.
don't think that's how it works.
You're currently chatting with yours.
Well, right,
Yeah.
but they're not being very helpful. I'm like, maybe I've said too much.
Yeah.
She sort of blurted that out and then was like, sorry.
The thing about gods is that we can't just give you the answers. We have rules in place that prevent one god from being more powerful than the others, and we have to work through our chosen champions and clerics and paladins. We can work together, as some might bring others together to form a greater party, but we can't just give you what you seek. You have to learn it on your own. Our intention was for you to learn about Aventhi on your own, to explore the
We
Kraken.
did.
And you did. A little sooner than expected, unfortunately.
Can you at least point us in a direction so we may find more answers that would lead us perhaps towards this Aventhi or some other information about the cracking?
I would say be careful, because Aventhi is coming after you now. But when he does, he will reveal pieces of his hand that you can glean and follow.
I hopefully chop off.
That's right. In fact, now that you mentioned that, Jaja, it's sticking. I don't care what you say.
They drain 1 year of your life away.
No more nicknames!
If we were to defeat him, and I were to kill him, and take the portion of the will of the crags that he currently possesses, you mean the power that you've given me thus far is only a fraction of sort of what you're capable of?
Correct. We channel our power through the will of the crags.
Perfect.
We gave it to Aventhi as a way to bring balance back to Aneria. He stole that power, in a sense. He's siphoning it from us.
So I kill him, and then the power of the will of the crags will be complete, and I can possess it all.
You will not have the same amount of power that Aventhi will have, simply because he is literally draining our life force each day. He's doing horrible things to us.
This is why I don't deal with gods. Complicated, confusing.
Absolutely.
And political.
A lot of red tape.
And the whole crag just like looks at her like, yeah. Wrong.
I mean, there's like 1,000 of us that make collective decisions on a second-to-second basis. Like, yeah, it makes sense.
All right. So, he has the larger portion of the power. He's way tipped the scales towards evil and bad things. We have sort of been tasked to bring balance back, take care of him, maybe tip the scales back towards good, and then the cracking disappears and everybody lives happily ever after. Is that about the gist of it?
The cracking disappearing would not be in our best interests.
Why?
It needs to be guided in a particular direction.
Why?
To bring back that balance.
Craggy, sometimes I think you need to get your priorities straight.
The entire choir goes silent at this. And the rogue figure that's been talking to you kind of like cocks their head a little bit, and then they step back, and like another one steps forward, and they're like, "Haven't we told you enough about your insolence, child?"
You're right, and I'm sorry, but I don't understand.
No buts. No more discussion. You will do our will, or your power will be revoked.
Very well.
Yeah, the crag.
One of the will of the crags was a dog, like just a straight up dog.
Was there an alligator too?
Yes, there's an alligator one as well. Now,
Variants.
go back home. And as they say that, like they all start like fading back into the mist, and you all kind of like feel yourselves get picked up and start heading up towards the light.
Oh, we don't get flushed like with shadows.
I kind of like yours better.
Use it.
No, we're good. Maybe later.
Just say it again. We'll just cut it out.
No.
Insert Conquer, and if anyone played that game, it's terrible.
Okay. So, what we're going to do is we are going to... I had all these speeches prepared and all these like if once Seredan accepts the test, blah, blah, blah. It's like, nope, never mind. We just forgot who Seredan was.
Keep scrolling.
Victor. Hi. The last 2 weeks have been a great study in the path of the Lapis Wing. Ivan's personally trained you, first deep in the forest, Bleakwood Forest specifically, where he taught you patience, then humility through combat. Go ahead and give me a dex save to see how well you handled yourself during this first stage of your trial and training.
Dex save?
Yep.
Okay, that's better. That's going to be a 13.
You definitely can't pull that cart out of the swamp. He has to do it for you.
Okay. I accept it humbly.
You learned humility.
Yeah, I'm like, this is, I am not ready for this. Like,
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Hope he uses it on you.
Let's see. He's killed me with butterflies, and one other time that I can remember. So
when you picked up a rock, it knocked you out.
probably.
So you handle yourself with a quiet dignity. You're definitely still in that don't piss off anybody on the wing or in the rings anymore. Like, okay.
Well, with all the screw ups that he had over the last 2 or 3 episodes or whatever, he's definitely like he's brought low.
Mm-hmm. But then it's time to build you back up. After this, you spend nearly a day kind of almost, it feels like wandering through the forest. Ivan just kind of follows random trails, and every now and then he'll double back and turn down a different direction, until you come upon a clearing. A large tree that seems to shine in the light that streams through the boughs of liquid forest. A solid trunk of shimmering golden brown is topped by a canopy of reflective green leaves. Ivan smiles up at the great tree as if seeing an old friend, before turning to you and saying, "Welcome to one of the best kept secrets of the Lapis Wing, young nymph. Welcome to the Steelwind Oak." He motions for you to sit near the trunk, while cautioning you to avoid the leaves scattered about the ground, before he begins telling you exactly what this tree is. He says, "During our early days as nomads, some say even before our group formalized their place within the Eight Rings, our prime was confronted by a being known as Genasi the Steelfur, a god not unlike the trio that your companion Eve follows. At first our tribe fought the great beast, who was in an unquenchable rage, and they fought for days. However, our prime discovered that they were not the first to attack this great spirit and began to try and reason with the beast. He fought the fury of the bear one-on-one, acting defensively as he tried to find the reason for this sudden hostility. He learned that Hanansi's... Did I say that? Yeah, Hanansi. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Hanansi. Yeah, it's like Anansi, but with an H. Hanansi's children had been stolen by a tribe of hobgoblins when she was away on a hunt. Since nothing but the return of her cubs could quench the anger of the spirit, our great leader sent his people to recover the cubs as he made sure their mother remained away from harming any other denizens of the forest in her rage. It took the Requiem 4 days to track and recover the cubs, during which time our leader did not falter in step against his furious opponent. In the end, the cubs were returned, and Hanansi was calmed. However, as the battle ended, our prime, tired from his long vigil, collapsed, dying from many wounds and exhaustion. Hanansi feared the tribe would blame her for the death of their prime, but we simply buried him here with his blades, as is our custom. As a thank you, she blessed the area with her power, creating a holy site that our tribe could benefit from in honor of our fallen leader. And he waves up at the Steelwind Oak, dangling above you, and says, "Over the years that followed, this tree formed from the blades and holy magic that formed the grave. Now it stands as the Steelwind Oak, where each member of our ring comes to meditate and gather materials for their first blade." And he picks up a single leaf off of the ground, letting you see the shine before tapping it with a single finger and letting that metallic ring echo out. And then he kind of like lets it go, and it floats up in his hand as if he's already bonded to the leaf. And he said, "The leaves and wood of this tree are actually metal, as you may have guessed. In order for our young to form their first blades, they must come to this tree and connect with it as you would any other blade. That is your task. Reach out for as long as it takes and connect with the Steelwind Oak. Get the materials that you need to forge your first blade, and then we will head back."
Okay. And is he just hanging out while this is
Yep,
happening?
he's just going to go into like a meditative pose. All of the discs that he has, like the razor sharp disc that he used to defend, just kind of like start like slowly flowing around him as he just meditates and practices.
So I will approach in a very kind of awe and reverence of what's there, right? And at first I'll just kind of sit on the ground, as close as I can get without decimating my legs, sitting on kneeling on the ground and just kind of meditating. And I would just kind of want to reach out, I guess, and in a sense put out into the universe that I am Victor, and I am here, and to wait for a response.
Okay. Is your mind blank during this time, or is there anything that helps you bond?
I think I would be thinking and contemplating on kind of the lessons, the things that have been taught, and more recently, the strength and the changes that have been wrought in Victor. Basically self-contemplation, and seeing how he has changed in his reliance on his friends and reliance on people around him more than previously he was very reliant, or very headstrong, and like, I can do it myself. I don't need anybody to do it with me. You know, like, I'm going to be the youngest. I'm going to be the strongest. I'm going to be the whatever. And so, I think he'd probably be introspective on that type of kind of connection. And, you know, not that it would necessarily connect with the blades, but just understanding that bond and wanting to have another bond similar to that with a blade to defend those that I care for.
Okay. So eventually you feel kind of this little spark of something, and you've always had like a kind of this mental image of your blades in your mind, because you can kind of just see the psychic outline that connects you to these blades, or a magical outline, whichever you wish to call it. Mm-hmm. But this time, it's like the entire grove lights up. You can feel the tree like rising in front of you. You can see all the roots kind of weaving through the ground, and you can hear every leaf as it falls, and as a few like start falling, you can catch them, and you start like swirling them around a little bit and gathering them up just like pieces of metal. You remember everything that your father ever told you about, like how much metal you might need. Make sure you get a little extra because mistakes happen, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And so you just start gathering, and eventually you open your eyes and you have this small little whirlwind of leaves and sticks, kind of metal, all made of metal, kind of surrounding you.
I'll kind of, I guess, in reverence to each of them as they come, you know, it'll be like that kind of like, and who are you? And who are you? Mm-hmm. And like kind of getting that.
Yeah. So you gather all the material. They don't really tell you names, obviously, but they do give you like an impression of who they are, so that you can build your own name for it. Sweet. But we will say that you gather everything you need, okay. And once you believe you have enough, you stand and rise. And as you turn around, Ivan is already rising, and he smiles and he goes, "That was incredible. Usually it takes our nymphs several weeks and several journeys to get connected. I figured that it would take you a little bit less time, but you are the prodigy that your mother says you are."
Surely you use sweet words after so many times with the stick. But I appreciate it, and it is for your tutelage and those who have come before that have helped me become who I am.
Well, for what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I thought that you have held yourself admirably, and I think that we are ready to move on to the next step. But first, and he holds up his hand, and he just kind of, you can see this little bit of a flare in your mind's eye as another of the seals on your blindfold activate, and it loosens just a little bit. So now you have the seal of the lapis wing, in addition to your other stuff on your magic item, which we'll probably post here so everyone can see and read. But for...
And he will be trying to keep himself put together, and he wants, like, inside him, like, he's never felt like he wanted to hug somebody, but he's like Sarah and Eve are rubbing off on him, where he just wants to like jump out and like give him a hug, but he tries to keep his composure as best as possible and just kind of bows to the ground, you know, the Bushido or whatever on the knees, and like,
yeah. And Ivan bows as well and says, "Come, let's head back. We can go ahead and start forging your blade." And as you leave the grove, you can feel that connection to the tree fade into the background. So you're not like going to be permanently bonded to it, but you do watch as the leaves that are on the ground. You no longer have to like avoid them; they just kind of move out of your path as you leave the grove.
Very cool. Shield of Faith spell once per day.
Yep. It's nice when you get custom magic items from the DM that may or may not be balanced.
Just give them to the person that's going to waste all the balance.
check back in like a year, right?
Yeah. I'll do my best to abuse it, so then for the next person they can balance.
This is the beta test.
Yeah. And that is technically, if you want to go see it, it's the Exile's Blindfold on the homebrew area. So
in D&D Beyond?
Yep. It is officially posted there, so yeah. Just so is the Will of the Crags, FYI. I think technically Trevin's journal is also there. but there's not much on it because nothing was really unlocked on it yet. So.
And it's been taken.
Oh, and that tiny little nugget.
One day you're gonna wake up and they'll be like, "Oh, by the way, your dad had like a journal in the middle of all this book here." I'm like,
we don't want this part. So messenger from the infinite side is like, we really hate your dad.
He just
Here, take this.
Pop out of a portal, throw it out, and jump back in.
just a bunch of papers everywhere.
Yep. You and Ivan head back from the tree line out. Again, you've been moving through the forest for about 2 weeks, just training, just doing all this fun little adventure stuff on your own.
And is it like, I mean, as far as Victor would probably throw himself in there, but there would be those times where he's like, "Where'd everybody go?" Mm-hmm. Is there any indication or inclination of that?
So you've been in the forest away from the rest of the Lapis wing and the third ring, so you haven't. Like, you didn't see them leave or anything like that.
I assume they're just at camp or somewhere.
The plan was for them to head to Terrebaun, and they were the Lapis Wing was going to take you there. Tempered Requiem was going to take you there, and you guys were going to meet up at Terrebaun.
Okay.
So it's a little odd when you come out of the forest and you're starting to head back to the collection of now wagons, because they've already taken down the tents as if they've been aware. It's a bit odd to see your horse standing. Well, I guess your horse isn't that odd. The rest of the party's horses are, though. And then it's really odd to see Darian come bounding up to you. Yeah, full on sprint. He has a shining amulet in his mouth, and he comes up and he kind of just almost slams into you.
His ears
yeah, his ears definitely smack you a little bit. And he just kind of hunkers down and drops the amulet at your feet, and then just kind of looks up at you with those big bunny eyes.
Good Darian. Here, I got the snack for you. I'll give him a sugar bomb.
And then
Are you kidding me?
and then so when she comes back, he's going to be bouncing off the walls.
You're a bad uncle.
You're a very fast
I'm
uncle.
100% a bad uncle.
Depends on who you ask.
What do you have?
This we saw that.
Yes, you did see the lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lock.
What is this
You're
doing
turning
here?
into me.
Oh, kind of pick it up and inspect it. And see what's going on.
As soon as you pick up the locket.
I thought he would have probably told all of us, because you were here when she found it.
Yeah. Because you told us at breakfast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you were contemplating making waffles, and yeah, I remember you saying you found this, that she was gone, that you felt like you had to have it. So I recognize it.
Yeah.
And
What is?
So as you pick up the locket, though, you hear the swelling of voices, and the locket flows from your hand, transforming into an orb of brilliant light. At the peak of this harmony, 4 figures emerge and land on the ground, a bit off balance and haggard-looking, but safe and sound. The Wayward Watch is united again.
It's like the Loki falling from the... He's like, I've been falling for 30 minutes.
Yep. And yeah, you can all have had a long rest.
Oh, Victor, that was fast. You're back already from your training.
Oh, fast. It's been 2 weeks. What do you mean fast? I thought you'd be in Terrebaun by now.
You're quiet.
What are you doing inside of the necklace?
I think he's upset with me. I call it a he, I don't know why.
I don't want to touch this thing and take it, please.
Actually, is it not an amulet anymore?
After it turned into the Orb of Light, we'll say that it went back to locket form in Victor's hand.
Okay.
Just so you can have the physical representation of where it is, rather than it being just tossed onto the ground. That's ridiculous. It is the weapon of a god.
I'll just kind of go, see if they've revoked their power, and try to turn it into a glaive.
It turns into a glaive.
Except now it has
Imagine what event he could turn it into.
I am imagining.
I'm just teasing, Sari. Don't let him get you down.
A boyfriend?
What he would do?
I'll call him Venti for short.
Your gods are temperamental, and your boyfriend is
Well,
horrible.
So it is a boyfriend.
And so is yours.
In their defense, I haven't been a particularly good patron. Well, not patron, but a patronee.
Patronee?
I have
Patreon.
I haven't been a particularly respectful follower. Yes, I don't know. Perhaps I need to come up with a word, right? Maybe that would help.
Like an
So,
acolyte.
cult. Normal.
I'm not cold at all.
I don't know what's called about this. We just blacksmith with our shirts off. It's fine.
More
Well-
of that, please.
It's good to see you, Viscount Victavius III. How was your training?
It was good. Probably better than what your boyfriend could come up with.
Right, I can't wait to kill that man.
Wait, you're going to kill him?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
He broke the sky. That's what he did.
Yes, so apparently... Let's see. How can I summarize this?
You all look like you have some catching up to do, so I'm going to go deal with my tribe, and we'll meet you over there when you're ready.
Thank you. Like on the ground, like...
Victor, please stand up. It's okay.
We appreciate you taking care of the horses.
Of course. I'm sure that they were well cared for. And he starts walking away. I wasn't here. I was
Oh, what's his name? What's his name again? Darius? Darian?
Darian.
Is he like sitting there like,
Oh, yeah. As soon as you hear Darian is like full on tackle you, like,
Darian, you're so full of energy. Victor, what did you do?
Gave him a snack. Just the sugar bomb, he'll be fine.
So this is Darian.
This is him. Come, rub his head.
Okay, I
He's
walk
so
over. I'm
fuzzy.
like, ooh,
give me an
Good,
animal handling check.
good bun bun.
he's getting his finger cut off by a bunny.
Yeah, I actually am like a little trepidatious after my last
You can sense your
experience.
jealousy.
Yes, and jealousy, right? Both trepidation and jealousy. 19.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Okay.
It's a tiny bit hesitant just because you came out of an orb of light.
Right.
But then it realizes that it too probably came out of an orb of light and comes on over and lets
Like
you
you have a
lets you
bond.
full on
A kindred spirit.
Like,
You can
oh,
pet right between the antlers.
It knows that Eve likes me best. I say as I look at everybody out of the corner of my eye.
Probably true.
Shaking my head like looking at the bunny rabbit's general direction.
I just say, oh,
And then it kind of nudges you like, do you want to go for a ride?
I'm like, oh, you're much kinder than the last bunny I rode. And I jump on its back.
And it, boom, immediately takes off. As soon as you are on its back, it starts racing down the trail, hopping down that bunny trail, as it were.
Does it have a range? Like he gets to the edge of the range and then disappears, and then Sarah goes.
Of course, if the
I
finest Steve has
think
a
it's it says you can
Like a mile.
communicate it telepathically within a mile.
A mile.
I don't know. If it
yeah,
disappears
I don't
beyond
know
that,
exactly like if that is the limit on its range or just telepathically, but it won't go further than a mile from Eve. As soon as it can't hear Eve, it will like
30
immediately
feet.
like come to a stop, and you'll have to like grab on
Right,
to,
right.
to hold.
Yeah,
yourself
I'm holding on for dear life,
Not
but
get impaled by the antlers.
I know I've got my arms wrapped around his neck, but I'm also like giggling with
The ears
the-
are like.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're hitting
he's
you.
definitely like sugar rushing right now.
It's like a
Enjoy
tarp,
that for the next 2 minutes,
insecure tarp.
and then he comes over and he lets you off, and then he
Okay.
just collapses. And just falls asleep.
And Sari kind of does like one of those, trying to like get her balance, and kind of goes down on one knee and actually falls down on her back. She's like, I needed that.
Do you think you can be friends with him?
Oh, I love him.
He's quite adorable, but Victor,
If
do
he
not
hasn't-
feed him anything else.
I will try.
I'm not convinced.
I just kind of look over at Victor and I'm like, right, where was I? Anyway, it feels like I've been gone for a few hours. Apparently we've been gone for a few weeks.
Look at the sundial.
Let's see, we were celebrating, I was singing Yellow Yellow. I saw Craggy, went into my room, he folded me into this locket apparently. Had to go through this trial where I could prove myself that I could defend all of my friends who I love. I failed miserably, and
I blew you up. And you.
yes,
Yes.
right. Easy managed to basically kill us, but also mostly kill Aventhi. Aventhi's the one who you are jesting about being my boyfriend. He apparently used to hold the will of the Crags. Well, still technically does hold the will of the Crags. The majority of the will of the Crags, turns out. He's very powerful, almost killed us all. But we managed to defeat him, mostly
Just his shadow.
Jaja here. But yes, it was apparently his avatar. He says he's coming back for us. which I'm happy about because I want to kill him.
He wanted the Ald Still.
Right, he wanted the Ald Steel to essentially repair the piece of the will of the Crags that was missing, that apparently I'm now holding.
For those of you listening at home, that's hearsay.
Yeah, supposedly, yeah. And it turns out he's the one that caused the cracking in the sky.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you guys are all right and you learned some humility. That's good.
We need the guy from Ant-Man to just come in and do the whole recap for us.
And then I was here. And then I was like,
I'm channeling. I'm trying to channel my inner.
And the Choir of the Crags was, man, you're super fine.
The Choir of the Crags was just playing the Smiths.
Yep.
Keep playing.
How about you? What have you been up to?
Not too much. Learning to swallow my pride. Gets a little stronger. He taught me some things about learning. I got a new mark unlocked on my. I can't see it, but you can.
Yes, it looks different.
Yes.
It looks lighter.
It looks kind of lapis-y.
Yes.
So I believe that they are like individual, like almost like stamped seals that are flanked around it.
It's like
It's like when you get a neck injury and they put the like screws in or at like different points.
Your interaction?
Eye traction.
So he taught me some things, took me to the woods, and I gathered materials so I can make a new dagger. One for the lapis vink.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm quite excited.
So are you going to take off your shirt and start hammering away?
He hasn't thought about it.
Oh.
I think I embarrassed you, Victor.
Victor's at a true loss. Preston's at a loss for words. I don't know what to say.
You kind of have that power, just making people feel uncomfortable. You're welcome.
I have a little bit of experience forging. If you would like some help, I could possibly help you.
That would be nice.
Get started.
I thought that it might be nice to take what is his name? Embarrass. I wanted to see if perhaps I could incorporate the feather from Embarrass with these steel tree. I cannot talk today.
Steelwind Oak.
The Steelwind Oak. These leaves that I have.
I think
If the DM agrees.
So that is entirely possible if you want to try, for sure.
Just even if it's just flavor of like the blade having like the feather and the glow or something. So something innocuous. Nothing.
Oh,
like
I mean,
anything
no,
special.
it's going to be something. Don't worry, that's an
Okay.
incredible idea.
Okay.
I was just trying to downplay it.
well, we should probably head to Terrebaun next. And
Right, was there
find
a
a forge?
timeline on Lucan's demand?
We were supposed to leave 2.5 weeks ago.
He'll be fine.
We told him to
We
eat
could blame
rocks.
Craggy. I don't know how well that will go over.
We already had a falling out.
Do you want me to stab him?
Yes. No.
All right. Do you want me to
Maybe.
steal
Keep that on the
his
back burner.
purse? I'm sure he's the kind of man that carries a purse around.
I would
Call
like
him
to stab
Merce.
him.
Oh, let's
I
do
would
it.
like to steal his purse.
For the first time, we are on the same page.
I know how you all feel about him.
Yes, I agree.
Pretty ugly, really.
We are full of sass today.
It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy standing around Thor.
Apparently all three of us are jealous of Lucan. Bolt's the
Big
only one
god
who's like
baby.
keeping us cool.
All right. Let's
That's you guys have a standing invitation to travel with the Tempered Requiem.
Going
To Terrebaun.
Well, I do think we need to meet with him, and I promise you that my feelings for him have changed quite a bit.
She just says that under her breath.
We're getting married. Just kidding.
I'll take the crack, right?
But I do think we need to meet with him again so we could, if anything, find out a bit more about that book, the person who was trying to acquire it.
Agreed.
And
possibly speak to his employer as well.
absolutely.
That's kind of a low blow going over someone's head like that, but
Unfortunately, we still need him a little bit for now.
Why?
All right.
Because he has the connections.
Ah, right.
But as soon as he
Spread
doesn't
comes.
have connections, then free game, right, Eve?
Please don't kill him.
What's everybody's alignment again?
I wasn't saying kill him, just,
Chaotic.
She's such
I didn't say stab.
I just said stab. I didn't
was
say
just-
kill.
Chaotic what,
Just
sir?
maim. Chaotic good.
How many remember?
Neutral.
The darkness
Chaotic neutral.
is having an effect on me.
I wasn't going to kill him, just
Yes.
preferate him a little.
Please don't.
Lawful neutral. It's pretty neutral. He's kind of a dick.
Not particularly lawful, however.
That's true. I'll repent for it.
I guess it's
later.
actually I'd be more lawful neutral or
Yeah.
lawful.
Yeah, you probably would be more lawful neutral.
I'm gonna change that.
Is there any? I don't think there's anything else we need to do here in Bleakwood Forest.
Well,
I'm shaking my head. No, that's Darian shaking his head. No. Flop, flop, flop.
let's get to Terrebaun then. I'm excited to see the place. I've heard so much about it.
It is very large, and there are a lot of people there that are nothing like us. I'm afraid we may stick out a bit, but that's all right.
So you've been there.
Oh, I've lived there.
Oh,
Yes.
I know so little about you, Eve.
Well, just while I was working for Lucan, that's
Right.
where he is based. And there are many nobles there. And I say we may stick out because we're
The Wayward Watch.
yes.
I think she's trying to call us ragtag.
Yes.
Peasants from a farm town.
I'm okay with that.
I'd
I
stick out
clean
pretty
up
much,
quite nicely.
I
I
stick out
honestly
pretty much
haven't-
anywhere. So
That's true.
I honestly
Fine
haven't
by me.
showered in a week.
And
I've
I've
been in
been
the
there multiple
woods.
times.
We
so-
noticed.
My bad.
He's got like twigs sticking out of his head.
Well,
Metallic twigs.
Plenty of mud on his face.
Yeah.
Now let's go find that
hope it's
Ivan character.
Okay, so you guys head back to the Tempered Requiem. Ivan is just finishing up talking with Lenora. If you remember, Lenora is his mother, the former prime of the Lapis Wing. Very dangerous with a needle, as far as you guys are aware.
Yes.
And he turns around and says, "Will you guys be traveling with us then?
Yes.
Safety in
Excellent.
numbers.
We would be happy to have you."
Thank you. We appreciate it, and thank you for taking such great care of Victor. He's said wonderful things about you.
Thank you.
And when we get to Terrebaun, is there a place I might be able to... Are you staying long there?
We have certain contracts that will be beginning soon in Terrebaun. And he kind of thinks about it for a moment. So we'll be there a few weeks.
Perfect. I might use that time if we might be able to use some forges.
I know a couple good places. I've been to Terrebaun.
Oh, you've been to Terrebaun too? I don't know anything about either of you.
Bolt has been everywhere.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
yes.
that they told us this a few
Not
sessions
everywhere.
ago. But perhaps something happened with chronergy magic that erased your memory.
Then you're
Also,
going to see the coronavirus.
You can forge on
The coronavirus
Not
magic.
in an area, please. Please do not let it
the
infect.
cracking is bad
Hang on,
enough.
I gotta arrange things.
How many sessions of lockdown can we play through?
I
No shopping
walk up
episodes.
to Ivan and I'm just like, "Hello, my name's Seredan Stonewood, but I might change that actually to Fellowshield sometime in the near future. Anyway, well met. Who are you?"
My name is Ivan. I am the prime of the Tempered Requiem and the Lapis Wing. It's very nice to meet you, Seredan.
Can I make a really poor strength check to try and be like
Try
get
to
you,
make
get
me
you
make
to
me
do it as
bow.
well?
Strength contest, sure.
Oh.
I have a negative
So do
something. 7?
Yeah.
Dang it.
Suck on 19.
So, like,
well, 18.
I try and it fails, and so I just like, please be respectful. He's the prime of the third ring.
That I don't know what that means, but
I can tell you.
like
Evie
also
seems
a
to
little
like you,
about
so
that,
that's
yeah.
good enough for me. For now.
We just as long as you're respectful around here, you should do fine.
To be honest, respectful isn't my forte, but I'll do my best.
Stay away from my brother then. just because he's temperamental.
Don't draw
Boris
a blade
is his
unless
name.
you intend to use it.
Right.
Yes.
I
Also,
don't really have a sheath for this, but okay. But I can do this and and turn it into a flute. Time to start playing it.
Alrighty. By the way, you can forge on the road.
Oh,
We'll set up the forge each night for you.
perfect. That would be if it's not too much trouble.
No, too much trouble at all. But we should be heading out. There's still
The
plenty of
boundary.
daylight left.
The Bounder's collar
Itchy?
is going crazy.
Yes.
Calm down.
Darian is still like wired.
I sleep running.
You
Oh, yeah,
get to
he
stay
still
up
is
with
passed
him.
out like 100
He's like
yards
just kicking his
away,
legs,
just-
like trying to run while he's sleeping.
He'll just be like a mount or a companion in a game, and the further we walk away, all of a sudden he'll just start glitching like to keep up with you.
Yeah. You fall down a cliff and suddenly he's just right by your side.
Well, they do that whole like where they hit the edge and they like jerk a little, and then come down.
When they were talking, I guess if we're starting to move, can I look in the big book of bounties, or have someone else who can see look at the big book of bounties for a Venti
Vinti?
to see if there's any other information or if there's any other like people having trouble with them?
Let's have you roll me a history check.
Can I aid him by reading him the entries?
Sure.
So that would
Good
be with
advantage.
advantage.
It's not in braille.
First one was a 6. That's a 17 even.
So there is an entry with no picture for one Aventi the Harvester.
A Venti the Harvester.
Ew, the harvester?
Yep.
That is creepy.
I'm like, no, I don't think that was him. He called himself the farmer. I'm quite
The
sure.
Jolly Rancher.
Is there a way to the information in the book? Is there a way to go somewhere and like enter and say, "Hey, here's some new information about this person"?
Yeah. So there's a reward for information, which is it's something like it's like 500 gold for Aventi.
Okay.
Which is pretty big for information. And then there is turning him in dead or alive, and that is 50,000 gold. Yeah.
Say what now?
Put it in my
And it is payable, and it says payable by clan fallow shield.
Oh, snap!
Ooh.
Whoa, the plot.
I read that, and she's like, that does it. I'm joining.
If you
Yes!
join,
you're
you
gonna
don't
pay
get
yourself.
because you're part of the clan. It says right here at the bottom. It says it cannot be
I
used by
can still
children.
receive money from the
Give
clan
us
coffers.
50,000.
Are you now, or ever or have you ever been part of Clan Fallow Shield?
We'll give you a small percentage.
under the table?
Seredan Fallow Shield.
I'm changing my name.
Sere.
And I will
It won't
openly
be
share
official until you go through the official.
Stoneward wasn't official either. So
What did you say?
Sere Phallus Shield. It is.
very fellowship.
Want to play the nicknames?
He's taking the gloves off.
Is that what our shield looks like? Oh my gosh! Oh no!
Pretty pointy. Sometimes they're hard.
Why did we draw an eggplant on them? I have no idea.
It's the clan symbol. We were eggplant farmers. We thought it was a good idea.
Why is there peaches too?
All right. So the next, like 13, 14 days of travel are going to be you guys staying with the Tempered Requiem. So long as you don't like do anything too offensive, they're happy to have you around. They're happy to teach you. Yeah. Maybe we'll have Colby roll.
Roll a what would my
Charisma check.
check be?
It would be a charisma check.
Oh, she'll pass.
No problem. 15. Yeah, that's okay.
You say no problem. That's
Yeah, I was tempting fate.
yeah.
there.
You were tempting fate a lot. Yeah, so you guys don't make any sort of like any faux pas. Tyrion, excuse me.
Shush. Pardon me.
I think that one of the most popular people in the camp, besides Victor and Bolt, who are like as soon as you set up the forge every night, and they do have you help set up the forge.
Do you take off your shirt?
Oh yeah. Open the chest cavity, let the air out. Ivan does take off his shirt for forging, though.
That's fair.
That's
fan service.
Yeah.
For me, so.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Ezra is actually pretty popular. No.
Victor takes his off and he's just scrawny, like pale, pasty white. Like,
You can put that back on.
You keep the lid on though.
You're pasty. You're
my negative
a
one.
water Genasi and you're pasty white.
Yeah, I'm an air. I'm an
Air.
air. Air and fire.
There's a steam Genasi.
There's
Frosting water.
Boiling water.
There's
You need
flex.
to get some sunlight.
That's true.
You've been hiding in the dark.
Like
too
normally the
long.
patterns that, without going on a tangent, the patterns that would normally be like air Genasi or like fire Genasi, it's like an amalgam of the two. So like in places you'll see like different, like the
So you got, like,
cindery
those,
looking versus the others.
Brent, what are those scars?
Yeah, like
Or not the scars,
wine
the
stains
birthmark.
or whatever. Yeah.
The birthmarks? You got like that going on?
So it's like a big montage of everyone around the forge taking turns hammering, and it zooms in like really close onto their foreheads, and everyone has like a bead of sweat that comes down, and Bolt's is just a little bit of oil.
So it's,
A tiny bit of chili that you were sniffing. That dripped onto there.
No, it's the bird. It leaves it dropping in.
Oh yeah.
The bird, but then it zooms in further to the bird, and the bird's sweating too.
Wow.
Oh shoot! It locked.
On something today.
But yeah, Ezra is plenty popular.
Thank you.
There are like every morning he's got young students coming up to him, like helping him through his routine, or kind of like watching as he does his morning routine, asking about like the Tushan discipline that he's in and the tenets of it and everything.
Nice.
So you become a little bit of a teacher.
Cool. I like that.
You have groupies.
Do you
Love it.
redraw Thulian Crawl every morning
yeah.
and put them up?
Yeah. Thulian Cross.
Part of your thing is like
And I've added, what was his name again? Avinthi as a second target to practice.
nice.
And Lucan, but every time Eve comes by, I hide it.
Sere just spends her time like practicing with her new forms that I've unlocked with the Will of the Crags. There's like a spike chain weapon version, a trident version, and I'm just trying to like become more proficient and skilled.
Trying to get it to
With those
flow a little
weapons.
easier, like you're weaving between the different, like without too much effort. You're trying to do it where you don't have to like concentrate as much. You can just go from like
Right.
glaive to sword to trident to chain, however you want. Yeah.
Do we happen upon any like traveling merchants on the road that might have
You do stop
connections
back
with?
at Bell's Watch,
Oh, excellent.
because it does take 4 days to get you back there.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because we gotta go through.
Could I do a little off-screen shopping?
The items that you purchased, if you want to give them a quick rundown.
I acquired a cloak of protection and a stone of good luck.
And I'm going to sell them back my Mithril Splint and buy a Cloak of Protection.
Okay.
Be like, well, this just didn't
What was
work
the
out for me.
return rate?
Well, we've been
war-
gone for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
It was 30
Just
days, right? 30 days if I kept the receipt.
I'm assuming I can sell it for half.
We'll just go ahead and just replace it, just
Okay.
because that was a
On the
mistake of
on the moment.
player. Yeah.
Did we? Sorry, remind me. We traded in the gems, right? And I know that I recorded that. We didn't get any other like reward or treasure or anything like that.
There was the treasure that you got from saving Bill's watch. You got that reward.
Right, I got that.
Yeah, but no, there wasn't anything else.
Okay.
You can sell the javelin or you can keep it. That's the only other piece of loot that you guys got. But,
I think we should keep it because we haven't even tried it out yet.
I'm wondering, fellow watchers.
Waywardians?
Waywardians. That I like that better actually.
Waywardians
If anyone could lend me 66 gold.
By the way, keep in mind that you need to also probably purchase a horse unless you guys are selling your horses again.
I will give you 66 gold.
Now, how fast does the caravan ride? Are they walking speed?
They're walking speed, basically.
We should probably just walk and
Yeah.
sell the horses back.
Okay. Because, you still have Darian. Obviously, Darian is free. The horses...
Now, I was going to ask, I'm sure we probably had our feed, set out near a tent. Did that get used while we were gone?
Technically, your feed was in your bag of holding. They cared for the horses while you were away. So technically, you've only used, 3 or 4 days of feed by this point. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Could I find some half plate for purchase, non-magical? Just
Yeah. I mean,
Standard
if you... In fact, as you start, wandering towards the blacksmith, Ivan pulls you back and he's like, what are you doing? What's going on?
Well, I feel like I could use an upgrade to my armor. It's taken some beatings and it's looking a little flimsy.
Well, I mean, if you're going to pay somebody for armor, we'd be happy to make you some.
Oh, excellent.
We're excellent craftsmen.
I didn't even think of that. How much would a suit of half plate cost me?
It's actually the same price as normal half
Dang
plate.
it.
Yeah, they're not. They don't have any sort of discount.
could
They're just
I-
basically being like, do you want it made by these fools, or do you want it made by your friends?
I
here at
would
Temple
like
Requiem?
the highest quality. You're right. What was I thinking? Could I make a persuasion check to see if I could get them to lower the price for me?
Sure.
All right.
Classic Sari.
21.
So what do you say?
Oh, dang it. Is this with Ivan?
Yeah.
Okay.
The verbal and a somatic.
I am not very good at acting like a straight female character.
Are you
so
straight?
I don't think... No.
Oh.
But I'm thinking this is the thought that Sarah is having right now.
Gotcha. You fooled
and
me.
that,
You're
and
doing a
that
great
Colby
job.
is having. I just, what do I say? I say...
You do the
If you
blink, blink.
if you flirt
Yeah,
with him,
I do.
Please say it too.
I do my
You
very
do
best.
say it.
I've been watching and trying to learn from Eve and give him my best, batting the eyes and saying, well, Ivan, I've seen the work that you do, and I will admit, as hard as it is to not look at your rippling muscles while you're working the forge,
you hear a very loud splashing sound as Victor trips and falls into the nearest trough and just at the shock of what just happened.
Bolt walks by and drops a drop of the love sound on his back. On his back. Just a drop. Not the whole thing. Because I hear this and I'm just like... as I
For science!
walk behind him.
Victor gathers his wits and uses his dash action for the next 6 turns to get away.
as difficult as it is, it's even more difficult to keep my eyes off of your handiwork when you're finished, because it is the finest craftsmanship I've ever seen. Frankly, the only reason I didn't ask you to craft me something before was because it's such fine quality that I figured it would be out of my price range.
So you definitely see this look like you're botching it pretty bad.
I got 21!
I know. And that's because Bolt walks by. We all know that Sarah's not good at this. But Bolt walks by, leaves that little drop, and suddenly, Ivan kind of blinks a little bit, and then he kind of just straightens up. And you see him go, just stock still for a moment, what? I think 10% off seems like a fair price. Excuse me, I have to go. And he just turns around and leaves.
Wait, I was next in line. I wanted some studded leather. That was +1.
10% off that too. He calls out.
You owe me. Well, you owe both. I give you your 66 gold back.
Great. Thank you.
I don't need it anymore.
It seems like it didn't have the intended effect of making him fall in love with what Seredan was saying, but he definitely what am I feeling suddenly? I have to get away from this situation.
What is this feeling?
What are these things that I'm feeling?
Yeah.
Feelings? Oh,
Yeah.
terrible. Well, I didn't pour the whole thing on him.
Yeah.
I was just
Yep.
boop, one little drop.
But I think that constitutes a fair 21 of how that goes.
Okay.
Can we? How much to sell the horses back?
You can go ahead and roll me an animal handling check. We'll give it like a DC 15 to see if you can do full price. Basically, wear and tear on the vehicle kind of lowers the value.
2.
Ooh, that horse is glue.
No.
Okay, fine. How much can I get for this horse that's going to be turned into glue?
How much for this glue?
How much for this glue? And more dog food.
So 50%.
Okay, what were they initially?
I think they were 75 gold apiece.
I wrote it down.
And then each of you can roll an individual animal handling if you don't want to accept.
Don't listen to him, Jazzy.
I don't have a horse.
Yeah, Bolt named his taxi.
Mine is Jazzy.
Oh, yeah, mine was named Jen.
I mean, if there was one horse that has been through the ringer,
That makes perfect
it's not
sense.
the Warforged.
It's now super sway back. Like,
Oh, the poor thing.
The horse is just like, I'm too old for this. I was 2 days away from retirement.
Yeah.
put me out of my misery.
Oh, it's gonna be great. They're gonna put me out to stud, and then oh no, this Warforged is trying to buy me.
Could I sell my scale mill?
Yeah, 50%.
Okay.
How much for the +1 studded leather?
So you want to just kind of?
I just had studded leather. I would have just had them infuse or do whatever to it.
Yeah. So it would be. Let me just double check here.
I'm also going to sell back the 2 days worth of feed.
Oh yeah, they'll take that at full price. That's fine. Like they'll check it for
Maggots.
mites, maggots. Yeah. But it's been in a hermetically sealed bag of holding. I think you're fine. Which I believe you have 2 of now, right? You don't, but the group as a whole.
Yeah,
we have
I've got
2.
1, and who else bought one? Victor, did you buy a bag of holding?
Because
you were over
getting
encumbered.
Because I was encumbered just carrying my stuff.
So
And then I'm going to sell. I got some other random stuff from when I started that I want to get rid of. But I'll just sell them at the standard half cost.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That feels good.
so +1 armor is 2,500 plus the cost of armor. So it's a bit more expensive than the adamantine armor that you bought for the.
Okay, so in that case, I won't do that right now. I'll wait. That's fine.
He was giving you a 10% discount.
And he will be wearing a shirt tonight when he is forging.
Comes in a parka.
That was like 2 birds with 1 stone.
It's cold.
It's cool.
I got 10% off, and I kept
He
Eve.
got 10% on.
And I kept Eve from drooling at someone, stoking Sarah's jealousy.
So you got it for cheaper, and you're paying him.
I shouldn't say things like that. That's objectifying his body. That's inappropriate. If this part is being recorded, I want
It's
you
all
to
being
know.
recorded. Always.
I don't believe in that
But
because
you sure
I would
does.
be way cringe if it were the other way around. You know?
I don't know. I mean, Twilight and all the moms at Twilight, that was pretty cringe. 15-year-old actors, 40-year-old moms. Kind of freaky.
Seriously.
None of those actors looked like they were 15.
I know, but in theory, they were in high school. Except the vampire guy was 8,000, but whatever. I guess that's not that creepy.
So then it's geriatrics that they're after.
Okay, now it's creepy again. For different reasons.
Wolf Boy for me has always been Shark Boy. So
Same.
he'll never be anything but Shark
Which makes me think of Spy
Yeah.
Kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved Spy
The guy that
Kids.
plays Jacob.
So good.
Yeah.
There's a.
Nice.
Have you ever watched Mystery Inc? Scooby Doo Mystery Inc. They have an episode where they have a guy named Baylor Hotner. And he has. They say that he has babs, which is back abs.
Nice.
I wish I had Babs.
Baylor Hotner.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Okay.
Shopping list complete.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Back on the road. It's been kind of a grueling. I think it's another. Yeah, it is another 2 weeks to get back to get to the gates of Terrebaun, basically. And I believe you guys will probably go up to the wire before this blade is finished. So you smelt the iron leaves and the sticks, all together. It kind of creates this nice little you Damascus it because why not? I watched Fortune of Fire, so you do like a Damascus leaf.
The feathers
blade
inside, you put in a canister, Damascus.
Like the first time that you put the feather close to the coal stove or the forge itself, like the forge ignites immediately. And so you spend these days forging it. You can see this blade come out. What does this blade look like?
So, what I'm imagining is almost crystalline in structure as far as the blade itself. So it's your typical dagger. It's a straight dagger, but the edge is kind of this more naturalistic, almost crystalline, and it's the Damascus kind of patterns on it, and the pattern would be that of like more of like a feather, as though the feathers are coming off it, and it has like this little bit of a what do you call it? Iridescence, I guess you could say, to the blade itself, and then the other stuff is more like a brass kind of for the pommel, and then for the
guard, brass for the guard,
and for the cross guard, and then the
yeah.
pommel would be brass, and then have like a little ruby inlay, and then it would just be like a very simple leather wrapping on the.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So that is finished. You can feel it kind of almost like it's warm in your hand to the touch, even after it's been tempered and cooled.
Mm-hmm.
They do have an alchemy jug in the wagon, so you can even like acid etch it
Nice.
and everything,
Yes.
and quench it there as well. So
I would.
yeah.
I do have
Okay. Oh, you do have an alchemy jug, don't you? Well, then that's what that is. It's your alchemy jug. It's not mine.
So you say we are able to get it to completion?
Yes.
Or, and I will. I guess when I'm spending time with it, I'll be kind of
Hello, little one. My name is Victor. Who are you?
Okay. So you spend the hour to bond with the blade. Are you dropping one of your other daggers?
I will.
I think you have a limit. What is your dagger limit, I suppose?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I will be dropping.
I think it's like
The
level
onyx.
plus proficiency.
Yeah, I think it was like level plus proficiency or something like that.
Or double your proficiency bonus.
Blackthorn, I think, was the one. Yeah, I probably wouldn't use that one just out of respect for it.
Okay. Let me just
Is that the
verify
onyx
that.
blade?
One that's not necessarily mine.
Can I have it?
Sure, catch it. Oh wait, that's your
If I find
that's
out
your
the
other
person's
character. that throws
dead.
it.
Yes.
Trying to think what else in here.
You can bond with a number of blades equal to your proficiency bonus plus your rogue level.
That's 3
So you
plus
should
5,
be
8.
able to. So you should. Yeah. You can without dropping Blackthorn as a
Okay.
blade. So.
I'll just
Yeah,
hang
you
on to
should
it.
never drop the blackthorn.
Never.
You always have your back.
So you
always win the day.
bond with it over an hour. At the same time, you attune to it because this is going to be a magic item as well. That requires attunement. And you, as you finish that bonding, it kind of raises up into the air. You can feel the heat coming off of it. You can see Embarrass in your mind's eye because you still have that little connection with them from bringing them back, and you just hear it whisper to you, Cinderhearth.
Cinderhearth, it is good to meet you. I will do my best to keep you in my care, and to hone your edge. May this be the beginning of a wonderful friendship.
Perfect. And I'll come up with a magic item in just a little bit here. I'm still workshopping ideas in my head. But Cinderhearth is, and if you announce that to Ivan or out loud, Ivan is like, he claps you on the back and everything, and he says, "Excellent. If you'd like, you can go tell the wing. In the meantime, I have to finish up your friend's half plate."
Ah, perfect.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll go and
Yeah,
let
he
it-
called me
I'll
He called me your friend.
I'll celebrate.
And I said, well, it's, okay. I guess I can call you friend.
Yeah, and if you do tell, the Tempered Requiem has completely opened up to you by this point. Like you might as well be part of the family.
Okay.
They haven't quite accepted you into the Lapis Wing yet. You know that for sure. But definitely, even Lenora gives you that approving nod as you announce Cinderhearth like it's Simba, and you raise it above your head to show everybody.
We conjure this a corona with our family.
Yep.
Oh,
The man's blood.
You've never seen that GIF?
No.
No.
Where Rafiki's holding Simba up, and then he goes,
Sweet.
Yeah, I think I put it in the Discord. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and look.
Wonderful nightmare fuel. Perfect. Yeah, but
Poor little babies.
they do make the studded leather if you want to get a good set of it. If you want them to make.
I can't afford it right
Okay.
now. That's-
But they do make the half
can I
plate
help
as
you?
well.
How much is it?
well, he's 2,500 plus the cost.
2,500.
I think I'm only have like
I got 66 platinum.
I have 538 gold. So
Yeah.
we will.
I can help you.
hold
And that's
for a bit.
10. That's without the 10% off. Is 2,500 by the way. So
Can I
Minus
have it?
250.
Can I have it embossed on the pauldrons with just like a note,
yeah, sure.
like a musical note?
Perfect. Yeah, they definitely they go over designs with you. Ivan sends his best armor over, which is a rather large fire genasi with one of those flaming red beards. Literally, it's on fire.
The gauntlet, you can actually put it in one of those old wax music boxes, and it'll play music as it rotates.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of things that you can do. They're like, oh yeah, we could definitely add a groove in here to put the flute or your item if you wanted to shift it into something. That
You just
would be
pop it
fine.
out,
Yeah.
grab it in the air like a Pokeball.
And then quickly change it into a glaive instead of a flute.
You can go like this, and it turns into the spike chain form.
Go, Web, go.
Hey, that's my move.
I've been learning from you, Bolt.
And he watched your work with the dagger, and he's very impressed. So he wants you to help on the half plate too, if you're willing.
I'd be happy to.
Excellent. The fire genasi does take off his shirt, in case you're curious. And he is even more jacked than Ivan is, full on. But think like The Rock with a fire beard.
Wow.
Yeah. So we get
Yeah,
to
the tendrils, his eyebrows are a little bit flame licking off.
Oh yeah. We get to about a day's journey from Terrebaun. The half plate is complete. The dagger is complete. They've gone through and we'll say that they've masterworked your studded leather and all of your gear. We'll just say that for that'd be really weird to track, but +1 for we'll say that at least the next combat I may come up with so many hits and then it's gone, and that's for everybody's armor. Everybody's armor is +1, whether or not it was before, just for at least this next combat, just because you guys. The Tempered
It's in
Requiem is
mint
taking
condition.
care of you. Yeah, they are. They definitely reinforce it.
+1 AC.
Sweet.
I'll just mark it.
And you're traveling along, and for about 30 minutes, something has felt weird again, and then you realize it's because the Emerald Wild is no longer in view. And you look back, and it's still there, but there's a specific point where it just stops. And you can just see stumps and dug up trees and all of this kind of destroyed jungle that leads up to this giant wall that makes up the gigantic city of Terrebaun. And there just seems to be this. How big do you think that would be?
How big Terrebaun is?
No, not Terrebaun.
Probably they do half a mile worth of
Yeah.
cleared.
Yeah, so there's about half a mile around it. It's actually a little bit more than that because they wanted a bunch of farmland.
Oh, that's
around
true.
it. Yeah. So we'll say about 15 miles of land, 10 to 15, whatever. It's just kind of cleared of trees, and it's just you can see that there are farms that have been sprung up, and rivers have been created, these kind of furrows, the aqueducts, and everything. Just the ever forward march of civilization, I suppose. Yeah. Quote unquote.
Sarah doesn't like this when she sees it. She's just kind of mutters under her breath, no wonder they're so angry.
Yeah, Terrebaun tends to get their way, and they don't want anybody else. They don't want to worry about anybody else.
They've been fighting with the Emerald Wild for as long as anyone can remember. Trying to beat it back, and the next year the Emerald Wild takes back more land, and this goes back and forth over and over again.
Not to mention the ongoing conflicts with the Mubon. And wait, is it Mubon? No, the Mubon are the mole people. I can't remember.
Torrey's people?
No, those are the Massifists.
The
Magic
people that
manifests.
Torrey's your son created.
Yeah.
He asked for more people.
More people.
He asked and I delivered.
Thank you.
All you have to do is ask for a specific race and I'll put it in this world, guys. Leave your race in the comments below.
If it's cool.
If it's cool.
And already taken.
I'm trying to remember what they're called. No, the Brusk. That's what they're called. The Brusk of Kragath's or Kargath.
Kragath's spine.
Yeah, Kragath's spine. Basically the boar people that live up there.
That's right.
And, yeah. They've been in conflict with probably every single other major settlement, at least at some point, either in minor skirmishes or, naval combat.
Are they well known, or is that local knowledge?
The
Brusk.
The Brusk. The Brusk are pretty well known. Anybody kind of has heard about them. He meant Terrebaun has been in conflict with.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
You do know that there used to be multiple separate cities along either side of the bank.
I'd heard that. And there was some sort of war of acquisition or something, right?
And the
Backstabbing.
one side, I can't remember their name.
Hirodel.
Hirodel ended up defeating the other side named
Terrebaun. No,
Terrebaun
Terrebaun defeated
Hirodel,
Yep.
and then just ended up absorbing the populace in the city, and that's why it spans across the river,
Across the river.
and they've just expanded ever since.
What is the political landscape now? Do the people accept this rule openly?
It all depends on
Aren't there,
who you're talking to and who they are talking to back.
aren't there like 12 or 13 like houses? Or
Yeah, there's multiple houses, multiple clans.
So they play the great game.
I guess you could call it that.
chess. Dragon chess.
Dragon chess.
That was a Wheel of Time
I think the more apt name would be Bastards and Backstabbers. Is the game.
I don't think I've played that
It's
one.
like snakes and foxes. Another wheel.
They play shoots and ladders. That's how they get rid of their any conflict. They're like, hey,
I need to roll a 3.
oh no, all the way to the end.
I have
Well-
to sacrifice a house.
What exactly is our plan with Lucan and Ezra? Are we just going in without any guile? Or do we want to have some guile?
I like Guile, but
I think I will send him a message and see if he's still interested in meeting with us. It's been some time since I've communicated with him.
2 weeks, apparently.
So be it. 4 now.
Do you come out of Craggy and your rings just went like ice cold?
Yeah.
Like, oh crap.
No, you didn't have any
just
messages.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yes.
Clearbug.
yeah.
Updates just on where Cascas is, like, at all times. Selfies of him, like, at the Ruby Oasis.
Actually, I would wonder if you could send a message to Keskus on my behalf.
Absolutely.
I noticed while he was manning his ship that he seemed to be in need of some help. And I think that, personally, Hug would make a great ship hand for him. So, if you could tell him about Hug and where we left him outside of
Approximate coordinates.
Noggal's Watch.
Willow Creek Hollow?
Willow Creek.
Yes.
Yeah.
Willow Creek.
In a cave, there was a badger.
Yep. Just follow the Badgers, the Badger Network. If you could
They're all
do
just
that for me,
filmary.
I feel quite bad about leaving Hug behind with no real support, and I feel like having him join with Keskus would make him a lot safer and give him something to do, so he's not causing trouble and possibly getting captured once more.
I think that's wise. I think intellectually they would connect well.
I'm just imagining Kes coming
Might
in.
not be good for the ship, though.
And then you see this chakram just go flying out at it. And the epic
Well,
battle between the two of them.
I think part of the reason why the ship was in a slight state of disrepair is he seemed quite overwhelmed with all the things that needed to be done, No?
No, keep going. Sorry, that was for the camera.
No. That was my summation of it. So I think that those two would work well together. Plus, it would give Kes some much needed muscle. A little bodyguard. I hear the skies are quite dangerous sometimes.
Just a little bit.
There's a little bodyguard.
That's an excellent idea. Dearest Kes, would you like a hug?
Is that the message? Is that what he's like?
That's
Yes,
No.
yes.
Kes-
Tell me where.
Kiss and hug.
Yeah, yes. Like, that's the reply is yes, always.
So they're just XO.
XO.
X and O.
Okay. Yes, I will send a message offering.
I'll even I'll write the letter up and just hand it to you.
Okay.
And perhaps I already had it written.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could.
You just assumed I would send this.
I was asking if you could. I was holding on to it. Until you said
Of course I will.
The next step would have been a butterfly message from Tempered Requiem.
You see one floating over. Hey.
So I sent that message. I'll also send a message to Lucan.
Okay.
That says,
You get a message back, and Lucan goes, "Who the hell is Hug?" Oh,
Wrong.
sorry, wrong one. Send that one back, please.
delete that.
Belay that message.
Wrong person.
It would just say, Lucan, I've made it to Terrebaun. Are you still interested in meeting Eve?
Meeting Eve. So yeah, you can continue on your way. It might be a little bit before somebody replies.
Of course.
He just sends back a message that just says
He's
right.
ghosting you.
It's just 3 dots.
Ellipses.
Maybe we should find lodging. Place to stay.
Have we arrived, or you said we were
You're
like
still
a day out?
traveling through. Yeah,
Okay.
you guys were like discussing this. Again, you're about like 10 to 15 miles.
Bolt, you've stayed here before, right?
Multiple times,
Is
actually.
any good place for us to
Quite a few.
rest our head?
Yeah, do you want cheap or expensive or moderate?
Well, the
Feeling a
Arcanum's
little
not paying
flashy.
for it.
Someplace with a
Wretched,
tub.
squalid, poor.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a bit of gold. We could treat ourselves.
Hmm.
We've earned it.
I'm running a little low at the moment, but
Let me roll
community
a
bath would
history check to see if I can remember a good
Everyone in the
inn
tub.
that's kind of like moderately priced, has some good amenities.
Okay.
Yeah, the amenities are what we want.
That's a 20 win.
Yeah, you definitely will be able to find something or remember something. Do you have a name in mind for this inn? If not, I can pull up my list.
Callahan Auto Parts.
Pull up your list.
The satin cat.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. Yep, the satin cat.
I want a satin cat.
It's like sounds
And really-
fancier than it actually is.
If you really want one, I could craft one for you.
And the image is a Cheshire cat that's really
You can hang it
devilish
on your
'cause
belt
It's not really
next to
satin,
your,
it's
Satan cat.
Snuggle beast.
Satine cat.
It would just be a satin kitty blankie for Growly.
It's a snuggie for Growly.
That just sounds so ridiculous.
You're dressing up. You're like in the middle of combat, and you got this little backpack with like it's got
Just hanging on a chain.
It's just a
It's okay, Crowley. I've got you.
Right now, you're describing Fortnite. I don't
Yeah,
know. I hope you know
exactly.
that. You're in combat. You've got a weird backpack on that
True.
has like some
Little
stuffed
pet.
animal in a snuggie.
Just gotta
Well,
know how to build
It's
houses
hanging
with
off
those.
the end of Craggy.
Yep.
I just swing it around.
It's like a charm.
Now you're describing Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys are kind of like moving along, and you see a man in the distance up on a kind of this old crate, and he's wearing ragged robes, and he has a big like wooden sign that he's got in his hands, and it just says the end is near, and he, as you guys approach, he shouts, "Death!"
I thought you'd say dad.
I'm
I'm like, oh.
where?
There! And he points over at the cracking, and he says, "The sky is broke, and now the ground shall quake. Death is coming for us all."
Okay, Chicken Little.
Yes, well, that's true technically. But as
Chicken Little, a very famous
The
Aarakocra.
sky is awake. So I'm awake.
it's a very small Aarakocra, but powerful.
Yep.
As for the cracking there, don't worry, we're doing something about that.
And he like drops the sign and he goes, "The children of prophecy!" And he runs up and he's gonna like start like trying to touch your face.
Okay, I'll let him.
Okay, yeah. His hands are grimy and he has not bathed in a long time.
Neither have I.
Okay.
Children of prophecy are actually called the Wayward Watch.
The Wayward Watch.
Yes.
Maybe we have to
Comes
change
to
our name to the
Terrebaun in
Children
its
of
time of
Prophecy.
need. Soon the ground will shake, and you will save us all.
That's the plan.
I will go spread your word. And he picks up his sign and
We got a cleric!
What was your name?
Wait a minute.
he starts running off.
We just started a religion?
You just started a cult.
He doesn't give you his name as he starts running
Right,
off.
well, it's apparently something that I've been doing for quite some time now.
The
so
cult
it
of the watch.
feels quite
I like
comfortable.
it.
No, see, you guys are in the cult. I'm the leader of a cult. It's much more fun.
You have more fun.
Way more profitable.
Yeah, way more profitable.
You have more fun as a member, but you make more money as a leader.
And as he starts like running off towards Terrebaun, shouting, "The Wayward Watch is coming! The Wayward Watch is
I
coming!"
like that one.
Ivan approaches Victor and says, "This is actually where we will part ways. We're going to set up camp out here, and then ride in once we have our contracts in place."
Excellent. It has been my honor to ride with you in the third ring. If you should ever need an extra set of hands to defend the family, I am here.
Thank you. And he returns the bow this time, and he says, "Keep your blade sharp."
And I can't remember the other days of month at the moment. This is Preston. He says something cool.
Oh yeah, it's something
Creedy.
cool.
Something creedy response.
I don't think we formalized any sort of greeting or not.
Did you say creedy?
Creedy, yeah.
Like from the thing?
Thanks for the armor.
I'm glad it works well for you.
Perfect.
And he bows to Ezra as well and bows to Bolt. And then he turns to Eve and he says, it was a pleasure having you along as well. And then he bows to you.
Samesies.
He's got a new crush.
No, thank you, Ivan, for letting us travel with you and for being so wonderful to Victor. I know that he really appreciated it.
Well, he's far different than the little boy who won his final trial by default.
By default?
He'll have to tell you the story sometime.
The two best words in the
I'm
English
somewhere
language.
else at this point or something, but if she wants to ask, yeah.
Needless to say that his final trial should have been a lot harder, but he's not the only one that is arrogant within the Eight Rings, at least among the new recruits. It's not my story to tell, though, but it's a good one.
I can't wait to get the
That's some
skinny on
juicy
that.
gossip.
Is that a different story than you releasing all the butterflies?
No, it's the
I think
same.
it's
It's
the
part of the
same
same.
Yeah, it's part of the same.
It's led up to releasing birthdays. Yeah.
Well then.
I hate that story.
I hate that story.
Yeah,
Bolt,
so
come
Ivan-
look. Open the
Butterfly
cage.
should
So
be in prison.
he'll go ahead and head out, or like you can see them already starting to set up just on the edge of where this kind of break is between the Emerald Wild, and they're setting up on the other side of the long road technically, but they're still plenty close to the Emerald Wild at this point, so they'll need to keep watch. But that's not your worry; that's their worry. And you guys continue heading on in, and it's about like a couple hours later when you all feel the ground start to shake.
I'm like, he was right.
You started a religion.
And
Everyone's
it
gonna
makes
believe
us
us now.
gods.
you kind of no, you look to your left and you see like this big billow of dust, and it soon resolves itself into about 4 or 5 kind of simple peasant-looking farmers. They're wearing just sort of simple clothes and carrying tools and running for their absolute lives as something chases them from beneath the ground. And as you watch, one of these mounds kind of rumbles and bursts, and this 4-legged creature with a gaping maw comes out and grabs one of them and just kind of drags it under. Yep. For anybody who doesn't know, this is a boulette. You guys have all heard of boulettes before, but you've never seen one. They're basically land sharks. And I think if you guys want, you can try and defend these farmers.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Or you could just continue on your way.
Honor
Too
calls.
bad for them.
Yeah. Well, that sucks. Yeah.
That's Terrebaun, all right.
Have you joined our cult? No? Alright, your problem.
This wasn't the ground shaking that we were to cause. This is a different kind of ground shaking.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and get in combat,
name
so
for ourselves.
give us a moment to set everything up.
All right, let's do this.
Yep, let's go ahead and get some initiatives.
Oh yeah.
Sucking it up.
Any of those taps will show up on the camera, on the audio, so be careful what you tap. Eve, why don't you tell me your
That's good
initiative?
advice.
Truer words have never been spoken. 3.
Sorry, I just got what you were getting at with what I said. Yeah, Ezra.
17.
17. Okay. Wait, the avatar of Aventi isn't here. You're from the last combat.
He's back.
Seredan.
16.
16. Bolt.
14.
14. Victor.
8.
You guys are not as coordinated as you were last time.
Yeah, that was
All wrong.
amazing.
2 weeks off, man.
In
Like,
a row.
Yeah.
That's great. It was a 14. I don't know. That's crazy.
That was nuts.
It's fortuitous. Okay, so currently, the bullets are underground.
Okay.
So they are technically untargetable. They'll basically be up behind total cover and probably have some pretty good resistance while they're underground. I'll give that to you right now because that feels like Combat 101 to me.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Can we see like the rises in the dirt?
Oh yeah,
they are?
it's definitely Tremor style where you can see like the billowing.
Okay.
And, you know,
So we're aware that they're there. It's
Yes.
not just like magic.
I mean,
underground.
yeah, and you did see
Pop
the
up.
one that like came and like ate one of the villagers as well. But
Right.
you do see, yeah.
Okay.
Are they
So-
fighting over him? Like, turn apart?
Yeah. Ezra, it is your turn first.
Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna run up
As you're running up, I'll say,
30.
watch the explosions this time, Easy. There are innocent civilians that are nearby.
So I'm gonna dash.
Okay.
Use my action to dash, and then I'm gonna just yell to the farmers essentially to get into cover.
They shout back, "You're going the wrong way!"
Run towards the danger, not away from it. For me, not you.
Seredan, it is your
Closer
turn.
out of danger. Further away from harm.
And I can't see. We can't see these creatures at all.
Not as of yet.
I'll run up as well then. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 34, 40. Actually, I'm going to stay at 30.
Okay.
I will. As an action. No, sorry. As a bonus action. I'm going to just kind of look down at because I had pulled out my flute, hadn't turned it into a glaive yet. I'm like, all right, Craggy, let's try this out, and I'm going to turn it into one of the new forms.
Ooh.
I'm going to
Exciting.
A pogo stick.
I'm going to pick the spiked chain.
Nice.
So, this is the Bindings of Norsurai. Transforms into a spiked chain that I can use as a melee weapon. It's got a reach of 10 feet. Deals 2d6 damage instead of 1d10 that my glaive was doing before. And some other things that I'll potentially talk about later.
Cool.
So I just pull out kind of this this spiked chain and look back at Bolt and just give him a wink. And then and
Do you have something in your eye? Are you okay?
I'll actually run up a little further.
Just a little dirt.
Right there.
Okay.
That's all right.
Sounds good. Bolt, it is your turn next.
I'm just going to go ahead and move forward. There. I think. Perfect. I'm going to cast Web. Right behind the the last guy. Try to, if anything pops up, try to get them.
Okay.
And I need to roll for my little thing.
Who's back one? Yep. Alrighty.
I got to roll for my little D6.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Roll in D20.
12.
Well, you're good. Just go ahead and add one. I think you were just on like.
I was at 4, so I'm now at 5.
Okay. Alrighty. So Bolt tosses one of the ball of wires and it explodes with a wire grenade.
And then I'm going to activate my bonus action on my armor and get the extra temporary hit points.
Okay. It's actually the villagers who go next. They are going before the bullets. So they're all going to move 60 feet. They're just dashing for their lives. Although they will veer off at the end of their movement to go hide behind the hedges. Yep. And you can just put the other two up to them as well. We don't need to count on all the steps for them.
All right.
Yep, because you essentially saved them. Ezra's quick thinking and the fact that there's now something else in the way. Then it is Victor.
Okay, I'm going to move up 30 feet. And as I'm kind of running up, if I'm going to cast... So I'm using the one of the leaves from the Steelwind Oak. I would have had just like one remaining that we had like fractured or whatever that I kind of kept with me. I'm going to take it out and throw out the blades. And I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on Ezra. And so as they kind of coalesce, I'll reach out and say, for the third it is to protect. And it'll make this like...
Little dagger whirlwind around him.
Little broken shards of metal whirlwind.
Does that give me +2?
+2. AC for 10 minutes.
Sweet.
Is it concentration?
Yes.
So I have a +3 right now.
Solid.
Perfect. Okay. Then, is there anything else you'd like to do? Nope. Was that a bonus action or an action?
That was an act. I think it says on the Exil's Bind Hold I can use it as an action.
Okay.
I guess bonus action. I'll throw out 2 blades.
Okay.
And
you can just throw 3 at a time now because your proficiency went up.
Perfect. I will throw 3 out and straight here. Just as a more.
Now, are they defensive blades?
These are defensive blades.
Okay,
yes.
you're going to use the performance point
Yes.
for that? Perfect. Okay, and then it is bullet number 1. And he is going to try and burst from the ground where he is, because he is a foolish, foolish creature and thought that there was something there. So what's the saving throw that
It's
you make?
a dex check 14.
Okay. So he bursts from the ground trying to, like, leap at Ezra and just gets, like, tangled in this thing of wires, or wires and webbing. So he's restrained, and I think...
Yes. And it requires a strength check of 14 to get out of it.
It will take its action to break free.
We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try to break free. And it cannot. It's just kind of like struggling against these things. You can see that scraping, like your wires scraping along the armored plating of it. You can just hand that to me if you'd like.
I'll just take it next to it.
Okay. And then it is Eve, actually.
All right, so
And Darian.
yes, Eve is
You can
on
just
him.
have your figure off to the side if you want, so that
I have a little sticky stuff you can put on it, like last time.
Is that what we did? I can't remember.
it has been a little bit. It feels like it's been way longer than a week.
Yeah,
Really.
really.
Well, and last time that I was with Darian was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, true.
Come at me, bro.
I tried to find like a good rabbit. I found a decent jackalope, but I don't know how well it'll work when it's all blown up. We'll see.
What's the move speed on Darian?
I believe it was
40 or 60?
45, I think I said.
Okay, And I will cast Bless on Victor, Sari, and Bolt.
That's a D4, right?
Would you like Darian to dash as well to get extra movement?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So you go running by and you just leave this like trail of green magic in your wake that that infuses your companions.
So how much further can you go?
Another 45 feet, so 8 squares.
Nice.
I'll just go right up there next to the...
Okay. And you used your action for Bless. You don't really have anything for your bonus action currently, right?
Nope.
Okay.
We're good.
Alrighty. Sounds good. Then it is bullet number 2, who is smarter than its companion and continues burrowing under the web.
Smarter than your average.
How much for
bullet?
It will get onto the other side of the web. Like it can feel like the other one thrashing around, and it is actually going to burst from the ground and leap right next to Seredan and Ezra. So you will get an attack of opportunity against it.
And so will I as it enters my reach.
Yes. That will not stop. You don't have Sentinel, right?
No.
Even if you did, you can't stop like a forward momentum.
You were so surprised.
That's 15.
15 will actually miss.
I'm still a little,
Getting used to it.
yeah, getting used to the whole spike chain thing.
Okay. So. Oh, it's actually going to land in your square. My apologies.
Oh, no.
So,
So it wouldn't technically land in his then.
yeah.
So just, okay.
So just Ezra's. So you need
Ezra's or Sari?
It's not quite
Sorry,
close
sorry,
enough
for
for
the
my
sake.
blades.
because it has to leap a specific number of feet.
Right.
I need you to make me a strength or dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 15.
15? Okay, that's
plus
failure.
plus
Yeah, D4.
bless.
Plus the bless.
Bless.
18.
18 is a success.
Woo! Thank you, bless.
So you won't be knocked prone by this, as this thing basically slams into you. So that is...
For some reason, I'm imagining the wargs when Legolas.
These aren't
fighting
epic
them.
dice. They're just regular damage dice.
It's gonna be cinematic if it dies on you, and like you're like pinned to the ground, just like Gimli.
Just that Gimli. One more? Ow.
So you're gonna take
Son of a boy.
16
Way sharp.
damage. Half of it bludgeoning, half of it slashing.
Was that halved by the save? Or
Yeah, that was halved.
that's already
that
halved.
is already halved. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you are pushed 5 feet back, basically.
So that basically, yeah, it leaps and then hits you, right? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and so it just slams into you and pushes you back. You're able to bring the chain whip up and kind of brace yourself against it, so it just slides you back a little bit.
Okay.
But then it just kind of like snarls and starts like whipping around and snapping at everything within sight. Ezra, technically it left your threat area too, if you'd like to make an attack
Oh,
against it.
bet I do.
I believe because you have your bow out, it's just a punch. So
Well,
it's just an unarmed strike.
I don't even know if
Hit him
I
with
do
bow.
damage with that.
Slap him with the bow.
You do
I think I do 1 damage.
Yeah,
Hey, if you unstring the
I
bow, it's
only
a
do
whip.
1 damage. How about a 15 to hit?
a 15 does not hit.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
Yep.
Goes
good enough. And then it is your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna trust Victor's daggers to protect me from that guy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna step 1, and I'm gonna fire. Do I need to move another?
No, I think
square?
you'll be okay.
Okay.
Technically, like
I'll just shoot
yeah.
through the bounder's legs.
Yep.
And so I get advantage because it's restrained,
Restrained.
right? So I'm going to
Yep.
use sharpshooter. I've got an accuracy here.
Nice.
So let's see. Okay, so how about a 28 hit?
28 will hit.
Okay. 4, 8, 9, 10 damage. And I'm going to. There's that.
There's a little bit more damage there, if I remember correctly, from sharpshooter. More than just
yes, 8 plus 10, so 18. Or sorry, so I was at 10, so I'm at 20.
20.
Yeah, I'll just do that for now.
20 damage.
Oh, and then I get a second attack because. Okay, so that will be a 24 to hit.
24 will hit.
Okay. This is also a sharpshooter, by the way. Oh, sorry. So that's actually 21 to hit. For 15 damage.
15. That's what the sharpshooter added as well.
Yes. Yep.
And I'm assuming you're just using regular arrows,
Yeah,
or are you
just using regular arrows right now.
another 15? Yes, I know it's concerning, but
So sorry. Actually, my other one to hit was 23, but I'm
Yep.
assuming that still hits.
yep, that's fine. Yeah. So you just fire a couple quick shots, deliver it to the bullet side. It screams or it does like this weird like huffing roar type thing. That it sounds like a mixture between like maybe a lion and a rhino.
Ooh. Ooh. It's creepy.
A lion.
A rhino.
Rhino. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. And then it is Seredan.
All right. Let's see what we can do, Craigie. So
I probably need to add something on this chain thing that they can only be one size category larger than you in order to restrain them.
okay.
Because I think that's normal for a spiked chain, or like a whip.
Well, there's no like inherent feature,
Sure.
but you could do like a battle master maneuver that could potentially like.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think it's like 1 or 2 is the maximum, but yeah.
Okay.
Same as like a grapple.
So this
Yeah.
is a 28 to hit.
28 will hit.
And
Were you rolling that with advantage?
no,
Okay. You rolled multiple dice again. It felt like
it's a
the bless
I
is
did,
there.
yeah.
Bless.
Okay, and so that's for now. I got to do 2d6.
Any dice?
They're borrowed.
Something borrowed, something blue.
That's right.
I like Lincoln.
Is 13 damage.
13 damage. Okay.
You know what? I was gonna, but never mind. I forgot. Because that's stupid. Yeah, I meant to ask, so I'll do so now. Looking at these things, like they don't have. Can I tell? Do they have eyes that I can see?
They have tiny like eye slits covered in armor, like heavy armor plating. So their vision looks pretty poor normally.
Like a moat.
I'm like, I don't trust you, and I cast as a bonus action. I want to cast Hex.
Okay.
On it. And then second attack is a 19 to hit.
19 will hit.
Okay. 4. And that's nice. 22 damage.
22.
And then I want to try to restrain it with my chain whip.
Okay. So what?
So
remind me
it
of
has to make a Dex save with a DC of. Where's my spell DC? I forgot. I never need it. I haven't needed it yet. So it's just going to be 4 plus 3 is 7. So 15. 15.
15. It does make it save.
Okay. So it's not restrained.
Yeah. So you can't quite get the chain around its leg. It kind of like lifts it up and backs away as you're just striking it again and again with this kind of
Okay.
whip-like spike. Yeah.
Strike them down.
You get to play your whippoorwill a little bit.
That's
here.
right.
Okay.
That's it. That's my turn.
Perfect.
Nice.
Bolt.
I'm gonna run past Sarah and say, "Watch out! I got your back."
And I'm just gonna run up and just hit it.
What do you do with a land shark? Punch him in the nose.
Yeah. They're weak to 3 things. They're weak in 3 places: their nose, their ears,
And we'll
and
continue on.
their history.
And their-
It's 18 plus 6, 24.
24 will hit.
So I go ahead and
bop it in the nose for 5 damage, and when it hits the armor plating, you hear this ringing sound kind of go out for it. And that's
disadvantage.
That's a disadvantage on animal cookie.
Okay. Nice.
No, I'm good.
You get 2 attacks. You're level 5.
Oh yeah. I'll try again then. Same thing. 2 less or 22.
22 will hit.
Okay. For 4 damage.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you just come in and you just like start like hitting this thing in the side. That kind of sonorous tone rings out each time.
Clang, clang.
The villagers are just gonna cower. The cowards.
It's like Kung Fu Panda where you're like...
Yeah. Little golden things.
Yeah. Or the monk in Diablo 3 who drops the bell.
Victor, it is your turn.
All right, I am going to move forward and attack this one. And I'm going to use Cinderhearth and slash at its face, or what it seems to be its face.
Okay.
And it fell out of the box, so I'll re-roll it. Even though it's a 16, that's a 13.
Plus your D4.
That's my D4, thank you. So that's another 4.
So 17.
17 plus your...
17, so that's 24.
24 will hit.
And that'll be... I'm gonna roll it here. And for this is with the sneak attack damage. And for the record, I'm throwing it as I'm approaching, because then I get an additional 2 damage with my
Thrown weapon
fighting style.
Okay. Are you activating the magic in Cinderhearth as you throw it?
Not knowingly.
Not knowingly?
But I will.
You are. Preston, as a player, are you activating the magic in Cinderhearth?
Yeah.
For this ability?
I don't know what it is, sure.
Okay. Cool.
It'll be...
For science.
For science! Somewhere in the back of my head, this little like Jiminy Cricket. For science! Yeah, so I'll throw it and attempt to attack it. So.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your damage.
That's
I'll tell you.
21.
6 slashing, right?
It's piercing.
It's piercing. So 6 piercing for the first bit, 15 for the sneak attack, and then plus 2 for the thrown weapon fighting style.
23.
23 total.
23?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I need you to roll me a bit more damage here.
Okay.
Oh, it'll actually be 24. And then roll me 2d10, please.
2d10. This one, I don't roll them very often. Though, 1 is 12. That is a 4 and... I hate this dice. Can't read 3.
Okay. So 7. So you throw Cinderhearth out as you're running up. It lets out kind of this almost eagle-like screech that just rings out, and wings of flame kind of come out of it and slide through. So you deal 7 additional fire damage.
Nice.
Cool. Solid.
And it is on fire. The boulette is on fire currently. So it will burn for another d10 damage at the start of each of its turns until it puts itself out with a saving throw.
Sorry, I don't know what I did.
So
Don't apologize to the bullet.
I'm more worried about the farms.
Don't apologize to the monster.
I don't want
you
to
probably
burn.
heard of
It's
it.
called a boulette.
I don't want to burn the farms.
So treat Cinderhearth like a dagger of venom.
Okay.
So +1 dagger of venom, basically, except for fire damage, and it causes the target to burn instead of be poisoned.
And
for the
same
minute.
with once per day?
Once per day. Yep.
Cool. Got
Yep. But otherwise, you have a +1 magic dagger now. So
Nice.
very creative.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, and then I'll use my bonus action to disengage. And run this way.
These boulette sound effects are fantastic.
And hide back here.
So you weren't going to pull any daggers or anything?
I forgot I had them, to be completely honest.
It has been a couple weeks.
I'll leave him there for now, in case he gets attacked from behind.
Sounds good.
Because he is He is trusting that I'm not going to leave him hanging again.
Yeah.
That's happened 2 or 3 times.
Bullet number 1 is going to try and break free. He still has to use an action to break free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Still trying.
strength of 14.
He makes his save this time, so he breaks free, and then as he like finally finishes off, like, he actually doesn't break free by like going up. He goes down. He burrows, and he's going to move. You can see him move off to the side here.
So the brambles like
diagonal away from the weapon.
like pull it down into the ground.
Yep.
And it's just this plume of wires.
And I think he moves 40 feet total.
40 total?
Yep.
So he just goes completely diagonal?
Yeah.
So it'll be... Over here?
Yeah, if that's off.
It is
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's still there.
still-
He's done.
Still technically
Okay,
there.
perfect. Yep, so he's burrowing through the ground now, trying to come around again. Basically, you can already see him like curving back around towards the action.
Sweeto.
Eve.
Burrito.
Well, that was rude that he left.
I ran all the way up here.
Look what you got a bounder. You run far.
Yeah, but do you know what we're gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
We're gonna use this cool javelin.
All right.
Found on steroids.
Get
Because I think we should. And see how it does.
Prismatic Jet.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, we'll say that the bullet comes back up and to like shake itself off too. So
Takes
if you want
breath.
to take that one, you can.
It's like a swimmer.
I can.
Yep.
That's what we're doing. We will throw the javelin over by it.
What is the range on the
120 feet.
120?
So
Max or minimum? Or sorry, short
60,
range?
120?
Is it 60, 120,
Or is it 120, 240?
120 feet.
Okay.
Where's that?
It's probably just like, basically just like the spell,
Right.
prismatic spray.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
After, yeah, it just says immediately after you throw this javelin and it hits a target within 120 feet
Okay,
of
so
you.
do we need to find out the javelin's range
Javelin
itself
range
to see
is
if it's a
probably
javelin
not
is
that far.
probably, I think it's 60.
60.
I'd bet it's not even that. It's a thrown weapon.
If I could spell.
But I could be wrong.
That's freaking.
Javelin is 30 to 120.
Yeah.
So 30 minimum.
So you will have to get a
Okay.
little bit closer.
That's fine. So move me a little bit closer if you don't mind.
So you put away the sword as you bring Darian around. You pull out the prismatic javelin that you got from that nasty orc woman and hurl it.
Okay.
So go ahead and make the attack roll against.
Well, this is how it works.
So you make the attack roll first, and
Okay.
then you do the special ability.
Oh,
so
okay,
you'll
I
still
see.
get the damage.
Does it have a plus?
It would be your proficiency bonus
Okay.
if you're
Yeah,
proficient with it.
Just use your long sword because I think javelin
Okay,
uses
so that is 22.
strength. 22 will hit.
Excellent.
So somebody look up what a javelin does damage wise.
It's 1d6.
1d6. So
Okay.
you'll roll that,
Piercing
Four?
damage.
That's a D8.
Whoops.
and then you
Okay.
add your strength, your normal like damage bonus.
I
One.
mean, if Jim Carrey
Plus
can
three.
take
Three.
one
Four.
each leg.
Okay.
True.
And now,
Okay, now the special.
yes,
If you just add a javelin to your character sheet, you'll be able to pull it up
we'll worry
whenever.
about that after the combat.
Okay. So, when the javelin lands, it erupts in a dazzling display of color and light, casting painful bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for another 20 feet. Creatures of your choice within the bright light must make a DC 13 dexterity saving throw.
Dex it.
Failure.
Okay, so now I'm going to roll a d6 to see what type of damage. 6, so special damage. The creature is struck by 2 beams of light. Roll twice more, re-rolling any 6.
Yep. So basically, instead of one beam, it got hit by 2. So roll 2d6s, re-roll any 6s.
So-
and tell me the damage types.
One of them is poison and one is fire.
And then it takes, what was it, 2d6?
2d10.
2d10. So it's going to take a total of 4d10
4d10
damage.
with the 2 beams.
Can you imagine critting with that?
So,
I wish you could put Divine Smite onto throne
So the
stuff.
first
Seriously,
one-
dude.
Ranged smite.
what was that second? Was it a 6?
Just
You
like
weren't
putting
watching.
on
I wasn't
or
thinking.
something. tight on the
16
javelin
Okay.
For
throw.
the poison.
Okay.
And then 8 for the fire.
So, math.
Eve didn't start
24.
the fire.
24.
You did.
Always burning.
It's true.
It's on a bullet. Booyah. How do you say it?
Yeah.
Booyah.
So this kind of like
French.
colorful spray hits as the javelin smashes into it, and it shrieks out as like this just spray of poison kind of like starts to like make it stumble about, and this blast of fire kind of burns its backside a little bit. It's it's definitely looking a little worse for wear. And it's been trapped for this whole time. It hasn't even gotten to snack.
Boo-hoo.
Didn't it eat one already?
Oh yeah, that was the one that He's good. He's fine. He had his.
So do I still get to do 2 attacks?
Yep, you still
So
can.
I get to do one more?
Yes, not with the javelin.
But I can use my longsword.
Yeah, but then you can run forward and use your longsword.
Okay.
And for intents and purposes, for people crying about bonus actions to draw weapons,
Cory said it was...
I don't do that.
Okay.
I should really change Craggy to say that.
And that is a
just
critical failure.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of try to get your sword out of the scabbard.
You're a little blinded by the light. Like, that was amazing. But I can't see.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to do?
That is it.
Okay. And then technically, Darian didn't. Darian?
Darian.
Darian. He didn't do anything other than one move. So I think he gets an attack.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Does he have a pounce?
And you can go ahead and do like the goring charge or whatever it is that Alex can do.
ram.
Straight line.
Ram. Yeah.
Okay, ram it is.
And then make sure you read through the charge thing too, because I think he gets like a bonus or something like that.
It's like a strength
It's
if you're not
20
prone or something.
If the elk bounder moves at least 20 feet straight forward toward a target and then hits it with a ram attack on the same turn, the target takes an extra 2d6 damage.
Okay. Nice. So what was the attack total?
I think I rolled a 7, so I probably missed.
Plus
5.
It's got a plus to hit, so it's 12.
12? Yeah, 12 will miss, so it kind of just like scrapes along the armor. It does get you close enough that you can recover your javelin if you'd like to grab it back out.
I would.
Okay. And then it is bullet number 2. Roll me another d10 for the fire damage on bullet number 2.
7.
7 more. Okay. It is still alive, and it is going to furiously bite at Bolt. And I think we'll use this nice little luck die that you gave me to do this attack as well.
Of course.
Does a... I should look at their hit. Natural 20. Does a 25 hit? Okay. 34 piercing damage. As this thing like full on just like bites into your leg.
Let me do I gotta do con save for concentration.
Oh, 17.
Yeah. Your bless is added to it, by the way.
Ouch. Nope, 12. So there's no longer web.
Bye bye web.
Bye. Bolt was gonna web at you. Something in this game for 2.
It looks like that's probably its like death throw, like lashing though. This thing looks really injured. FYI. Why?
So since it's weak against its history, I'm going to say, you haven't called your mother in years. Boom.
Alright, I'm going to turn and shoot this guy. Phew.
17.
17 will hit.
Okay.
Oh, and that was with or without sharpshooter?
Without sharpshooter.
Without. Okay.
And that will be 7 damage, and I'm going to use one of my arcane shots. And I'm going to not do bursting arrow. I'm going to do grasping arrow.
Do it!
Creature hit by the arrow takes an extra 2d6 poison damage. So an extra
Sure you don't want the exploding
7 poison
No,
damage.
let's not.
Its speed is reduced by 10.
Yeah, let's not.
And it will take 2d6 slashing damage if it moves more than 1 foot on any turn, and the brambles that it's entangled in last for 1 minute.
Okay. What was the total damage that you did then?
So I did 14.
14 damage.
Yeah.
So what does this new type of magic look like as it kills this beast?
Yeah, so as I'm like pulling back, right as I let go, it engulfs in that orange, like chronomancy looking magic.
Eve
weapon.
like instinctively like like flinches. You know what I mean? She
Sorry.
like holds up her hand. Or I always call myself.
It's okay.
Why do I do that? Yeah, sorry, definitely.
Eve probably does that too. I mean,
flinches. She also has trauma.
Falls off the binder.
Yeah.
And
We're
as
scared
it
of Ezra.
hits,
Well,
it just
scared of butterflies.
explodes in like basically web, but just wraps around it and just kind of like squeezes and looks all icky and brambly.
And in this case, the thing collapses, the bullet collapses, and
Nice.
is gone. So we can remove that one.
Okay.
If it is on fire, can I release that type of fire to prevent this whole?
You
from
just
going
have to put it out.
put it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll move, I guess.
Are these like
Take a
rice paddy
second
farms
shot.
or like?
There's a lot of rice paddy farms around here. Right now, this is kind of like a path between farms.
Okay.
So this is more like a dirt furrow.
Second shot is 19 to hit.
19 will hit.
Okay.
Don't forget you have bless, by the way.
I don't have bless.
What do you have?
That's
to
right.
do?
Armored.
Oh, that's armored. That's right.
There
You have the D4 in it, and I'm like,
To remind me that I have 3.
Yeah, plus 3.
So that's 11 damage.
11 damage. Okay.
And that's it.
All right. Seredan.
Okay. I'm going to, as a bonus action, transfer Hex to this one, and then move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And
just within range.
make 2 attacks. That's a 21 to hit.
21 will hit.
For 16 damage.
16. Okay.
And then, okay, so question. It says that when I hit with my, I mean, it wouldn't make sense, I guess, for me to try and grapple with it now if I wanted to make a second attack, right? It says when you hit a creature with this spiked chain, you can have it make a saving throw or it's grappled.
Yeah.
But like, then I wouldn't be able to make a second attack, right?
Yeah, pretty much you'd be tying up your weapon, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a second attack.
Okay.
And hope that I hit. That's a higher.
Yeah.
24.
Higher will hit.
For 14 damage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try to grapple it.
All right.
So it's a DC of 15.
It does not make it save.
Nice. So it's grappled in my chain.
Now, what is it?
Does that make it restrained?
Yeah, it says...
Was it a bonus action to end it early?
If I ended early, it's a bonus action, yes. But I already used it to transfer Hex.
Okay.
So, yeah, it just says... we don't choose to force the creature to make a dex save throw. On a failed save, the target's grappled until it can break free.
Yeah.
The chain can't be used to restrain another target unless the wielder willingly ends the grapple.
Okay. All right. Yep. So you kind of slash this thing along its side. You're kind of continuing to open up this wound that Eve's character, Torrey's character, Eve, has already like opened up, and then you just wrap around one of the legs and you just like hold it in place so it can't like burrow away or anything like that. This is the second time this thing's been grappled by spiky chain things.
Yes.
it's not having the best day. Bolt, it is your turn.
I'm just gonna move up. And then I'm just gonna firebolt.
Bolt, firebolt.
I'm gonna fire me.
I'm going to firebolt.
Fire me.
You're fired.
You're fired.
Is there any?
Ooh, natural 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you had advantage. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
you have
restrained.
advantage
Oh,
because
that's
it's
right.
restrained.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me that
wait.
sweet.
Only on.
Sorry, I mean, technically a grappled target just has its movement reduced to 0. It's not actually restrained
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
if it's just grappled. But anyway.
but it's okay. You have the natural 20.
So that is. It would be 2d10, so 20
Yep.
automatically.
Plus another 2d10.
Plus another 2d10. Another 10, so 30 total damage.
Yeah,
Nice.
Bolt just comes up. You guys have never really seen him use Firebolt before. I mean, I guess once or twice. But he just comes up and Is it just like a fire rocket punch that you thrust forward, or?
Falcon punch.
Isn't the Whistlers from?
No,
That's magic missile.
That was magic missile.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
No, firebolt is just kind of like as I'm running up. There's the gauntlet kind of starts pulsing with the same rusty red magic, and then I just kind of punch outward and stop, and it just like rings of fire come out and hit him.
Like a little fire vortex.
Yeah.
And it just sears right through the rest of this bullet, and it just like collapses into pieces. Well done. I will take the bullet.
Bolts, could I provide some healing?
That would be much appreciated.
For I am
How much
here.
health do you have?
14.
Yes.
Bullets. 4d12 damage.
If they can hit you.
For real.
Yeah.
If we don't sense any other danger, I will begin to call back my.
So 9.
Yep. There's no other danger. The farmers come over and they immediately like start shaking your hands and thanking you all for saving
Plus
most of
another
their
10.
lives.
It's okay. The Wayward watch is here.
And then
We were prophesied. And we have delivered.
We are the chosen ones.
yeah, we heard some guy shouting about the Wayward Watch. Well,
He was talking about
Well,
us.
well,
And then I'm going
thank
to
you.
take an action and drink a potion of healing.
Okay.
So that's a full 10 hit points.
All right.
Coming off this like humility, humble thing, like, and then going like full on like pompous, like it feels like a one step forward, 3
This
steps
weird
back.
like Victor Plateau up and
What
down. that
happens
goes on.
when you're on your own? You're on the right path, and then as soon as you start hanging around with the bad kids, then it's all down.
a breakfast
We're
club.
bad
I'm send you
influences.
down the path that rocks.
No,
Evie, would you
he's
happen
got
to
a
have any blessing to spare?
Of course,
chance?
of course, of course.
Why don't you just ask your gods?
15.
They don't really do healing.
There's so many of them. It seems like one of them has to have done healing.
They're more about the death and destruction. Or at least, I suppose, the way I use them.
I've heard about healers in ancient societies who use
Did you say
bloodletting
15?
as healing.
Thanks.
Do you need me to cut you a couple times, see if it works?
It's like when I yelled, just throw a healing dagger. It'll be fine.
I thought about giving the fire dagger some healing properties because technically it's like a phoenix dagger, right? You know, nah.
Stick it in the flesh of a corpse that's recently died. and then come back to life.
resurrected at the cost of your
Well, that what was the name of that house that's
Stab this corpse to
that's
life.
supposed to be keeping the roads clear? Green or
Green.
something?
Greenwood. House Greenwood.
green one.
He's just-
Yes, the Knights of Greenwood.
Oh, you know,
We're not technically on the road, are we? We're close
We're on
to
the wrong road.
You guys aren't. You guys are no longer on the long road at this point. Like the farmlands are off the sides of the long
excuse
road.
me,
Technically speaking, like they're not the highway anymore. But
citizens, if you could please come here. I have an affidavit here that I need you to sign to say that you saw what we killed, so you can have proof for the guard. Get paid.
sure. Give me a persuasion check.
I'm gonna help him.
I'm going to drip some
That's,
sap.
that's
Let's
cocked.
just get
Natural one!
No.
From a 14 to a 1.
I'm helping you.
Yeah, so
That
roll
means
with
you have
advantage.
It's advantage. A 14. We're back to 14. And,
Yeah, they'll go ahead and sign it and say, or basically, well, they'll just sign. They don't read it.
Okay.
They don't know what they're signing really.
Perfect, thank you.
Nobody
just
ever
sign with an
reads the
X.
sign back.
Yeah.
It's like
I will-
the deed to all of your farmland.
Uh-huh.
We just became very rich.
Just click to agree. It's quite simple.
And then one other thing
I'll put it in my little.
happens as you guys are like getting back on the long road after the farmers wave goodbye. Your ring goes cold.
Nervous to see what it says.
No, that would be the oily smell.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. What does the message say?
The message says, "I will meet you at the gate."
I think I'm in trouble.
What could he do? Fire you?
I hope
He wasn't
so.
paying as well as you've been making lately
I
anyway.
thought you quit when you know.
He said that we should find each other in Terrebaun and he would find out where my loyalties lie.
I heard something about being responsible or something.
Why do you always have to prove your loyalty to people like that? Not you, just in general.
I feel like that was directed at me, though.
I was looking at Sarah when I said it because she just had to do that with the freaking with the people.
That's true.
The shadowy ones.
You've had to do that. Victor had to do that. My turn, I guess.
All we do is prove ourselves over and over. When is it enough?
It's exhausting.
Fine, I'll write down some new notes. New storyline.
Just erase the size 40 font that says prove.
Yep, proof. I'll just add an N at the end of it.
Proven.
We're good. Okay, so with a goal in mind, to the gates of Terrebaun you go. I think next week we will finally be in Terrebaun after 37-ish days, I think, is my count.
Unless Lucan kills us all at the gate.
Yep, it's been more than a month since
Like,
the
I just
festival.
wanted to go inside.
Yep. And we'll see what happens next time. Thanks, everybody.
It's almost like traveling halfway across the continent it's hard.
Yeah, apparently.
That's fair. Victor and Seredan, inspiration tonight. Well done. That'll be good for this time. Not that anybody else did a bad job. That's why I hate inspiration.
Because you feel like you're playing favorites.
Yeah, I feel like I'm playing favorites. When everybody knows that Colby is definitely not the favorite.
Roasted.
Thank you. But yeah, we'll go ahead and see you next time. Thanks everybody for joining. Make sure to leave a like, comment, whatever you want. Not whatever you want, but comment something fun. And we'll see you.
The race. We want to know
the
a
race.
race
Yeah, give
that
us
you
a
would
good race.
invent.
Maybe raccoon people.
Bunny folk, do they ride bounders?
That's...
Our bounders food.
Or bounders food?
Bounders are friends.
That's a great like question to delete for the comments. Are bounders food?
Not daring.
Let's get into the ethics of this now.
But until next time, have fun.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.